All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Today is the biggest day in the women's football calendar. It's the Women's Champions League final as Arsenal take on Barcelona. Two sides who, well, one side who would have been very much expecting it to be here. The other who it feels like a miracle, feels like a dream, but they are here. Let's start with Arsenal, Harry, today. Well, firstly, welcome to the stream. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. It's Champions League final day. It's the biggest day in women's football, and it's the day we all look forward to. It's a very highly anticipated final. I think it's set up very nicely. It breaks the norm that we've seen over the last couple of years. These Champions League finals, the European games, have been dominated by the likes of Barcelona and Lyon over the last few years. But now Arsenal getting themselves into the final and have a very good opportunity to go and do something incredible today. Go and put on a brilliant performance and stun everybody. But overall, it's a great game. It's going to be a brilliant match no matter what the result is. And it's European final day. You have to get yourselves excited for that one. But a massive ask for Arsenal. Barcelona, though, they're here. They're looking to sustain this European dominance that has been building over the last couple of years. I think it's weighed very nicely between two sides who are both here for very different reasons, and them winning it would mean very different things to each club.
Yeah, it feels like this could be a very significant final. I mean, obviously, if Barcelona win it again, it is a fourth title in total, a third in a row for Barcelona. It would, I think, really put a stamp on the dominance they've had over the last 5 years, last half a decade. Obviously, this is the last Champions League in this format. We'll move next season to a league phase. It'll be interesting to see what differences that provides. But yeah, I think this could be a very significant final. I mean, if Arsenal were to win it against all the odds today, it would be a very significant result for them, and as a side, but also for, I think, the wider women's football landscape. The fact there is that competition, but I think the problem that you're looking at a Champions League final today where one side are huge favourites. But that would have been the case regardless of who Barcelona will play.
Yeah, Barcelona, again, year on year, are absolutely brilliant. They turn up in the biggest games. They've done it for the last couple of years, and they've done it again this year. They've blown some of the best sides in Europe completely out of the water, and they find themselves 90 minutes away from another European trophy, and to get their name onto the Champions League once again. And I think that, as you say, as we leave this current era of the Champions League, as we enter a new one going into next season, will it be Barcelona who look to be carrying on that momentum into the new era, or will Arsenal end this current state of the Champions League with an English name on it, with their name back on it? And if they could put themselves 2 Champions League titles ahead of anyone else in England, that's a massive statement from the Gunners, because that is the one trophy that none of their rivals have, and I think that would go a long way to really establishing themselves as one of the biggest forces in women's football once again.
Yeah, indeed. And New and Phil, welcome to the stream. Both asking about shirts today. If either of you are expecting us to be wearing Arsenal or Barcelona shirts, think again. If you ever see me wearing one of those shirts, I've either lost a bet or been paid a very large sum of money. So, but neutral for today's final, but it should be a good game. But yeah, Arsenal, obviously, the surprise getting here. Let's talk about their route to the final then, Arsenal. The group stage, I think we expected it to be more difficult than it was for Arsenal.
Well, yeah, it was pretty difficult. We, as you say, we went into it. They had some very, very difficult sides, and they did make difficult work with it. Obviously, Eidevall was still in for the Bayern Munich game away, and they lost that fixture, and that set up what was always going to be a difficult group stage from there. But I think that they did well to recover it. It helped that Bayern Munich drew. They then had that weird windy match at Meadow Park, and I think that, as you say, after the loss in match week 1, and when you look at the group on paper, it did feel like it could have potentially got away from Arsenal in that group stage, but they steadied the ship. Obviously, it helped with Slagers coming in as well. That kind of coincided halfway through the Champions League group stage, but because it was obviously her first game in charge was that Varenga game at the Emirates, and that was a big turning point for Arsenal, not only as a club but in the Champions League. They took that form and they managed to get themselves out of the group. But as you say, it looked like it could have got a little bit out of shape for the Gunners, but they did well to get back on track, and they did well to get themselves into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, definitely. A lot, we'll do our Arsenal full season review next week, but regardless of what happens in this game, I think it's been a big turnaround for them this season. They started the campaign under Jonas Eidevall's came in, and she's done a remarkable job to get here. Now, I think in the Champions League, they've far exceeded expectations. So for her performance in this competition, that deserves huge plaudits this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've done really well in that regard. Barcelona, on the other hand, well, they've cruised through the competition as many expected. They had a rather fanciful group stage, and that was no competition for them. Wolfsburg, I think, put up a bit less of a fight than we hoped them to, and Chelsea put up significantly less of a fight than we hoped them to. So yeah, they've had it quite easy, Barcelona. I think, group stage was easy enough for them, and I think the knockout stages, both sides just haven't given them a game at all.
Yeah, Barcelona, they were brilliant. As you say, that they were incredible through the knockouts, and neither Wolfsburg or Chelsea could really hurt them. And I think that's why I said at the start there that these two sides are here for very different reasons. Barcelona have, with the quality they've got, have cruised through the tournament, and this is now where it gets serious. This is where they will look to go on and really cause some issues. For Arsenal, they'll come out, they'll give it everything, and they know they have to be 110% in those other games, especially in the second legs. Once they've done the work against Chelsea and done the work against Wolfsburg in the first legs, the second legs, I mean, they didn't take it easy, but they could have if they wanted to. But so they've put themselves in a good position. But now is where it gets serious. For Arsenal, they've had to work so hard to get here. They've been up against it in both of their knockout ties. They trailed going into the second leg in both their knockout matches. And they dug deep. They had that mentality to go again, and in the second leg to turn it around. And I do think that is potentially something that Arsenal can use today, is that they are never out of this football match. Arsenal, they know how to dig in. They're very good up against the odds. No one expected them to turn it around against Real Madrid being 2-0 down. No one expected them to turn it around against Lyon away in France being 2-1 down. But they did that. They defied the odds. They put 4 past Lyon, which, as Bon Mati said, you have to give Arsenal credit, because not even Barcelona have scored 4 against Lyon ever. So Arsenal, they've shown they've got that grit, and that is something I think they have that Barcelona, I don't want to say they lack, but I think Arsenal have more determination when the going gets tough. But that's simply because Barcelona are never put in a position where it is tough, really.
Yeah, I've made the exact same point. Arsenal have that character. Barcelona, I don't think we've ever seen that, but that's through more necessity than anything else. But it would be an interesting test to Barcelona today if Arsenal were to score first. I think it would put a spanner in the works, this Barcelona side. I mean, people will call it a ridiculous claim because we're used to seeing Barcelona dominate games, but I think it would be interesting to see Barcelona test. It'd be interesting to see how the players respond to a challenge. So, yeah, I think that would be fun to see. Whether or not we'll see it, we'll have to see in the game. But I think if Arsenal can put pressure on Barcelona and make life difficult for them, that would create an interesting spectacle.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing for Arsenal today, is they have to make it difficult for Barcelona. The biggest criticism we've had of the rest of the sides in the tournament, bar Man City, is that they've made it too easy for Barcelona to play their stuff. And when you give Barcelona something to play with, they will take it, they'll run off with it, and they'll smash out the park for 6, like they did against Wolfsburg and Chelsea and the likes. Arsenal, they've got to challenge, they've got to make it difficult. Keep it tight, keep it compact. You can't afford to make any errors. If you make an error and you hand it to Barcelona, that's inexcusable in this kind of match. So for Arsenal, it's important today that they just take it one step at a time. Get through phases of the game. Get through the first 5. Get through the first 10. Keep that scoreline 0-0. If you get the opportunity to go at Barcelona, brilliant, go for it. But I think that there's going to be sections of the match where Arsenal just need to be in management mode, be in conservative mode, and just realise, right, Barcelona are on top right now, so we're just going to sit in, absorb pressure, and not hand them any easy goals. Because at the end of the day, if you sit compact and you don't let Barcelona in your penalty area, you're going to keep it at 0-0. If Bon Mati smashes it into the top corner from 25 yards, you have to hold your hands up and go, that's incredible. So for Arsenal today, their job, as we said in the preview yesterday, they've got to make it difficult for Barcelona. They've just got to try and frustrate the holders of this competition and try and push them off their course.
Well, we saw Man City do it. There's a blueprint to how to beat Barcelona, and we saw City deploy that plan excellently. And that's a City side who haven't been brilliant at all this season. So if Arsenal can take inspiration from that, if they can learn from that, admittedly it's a different Barcelona side. I think they're much more naive in those opening games under Pere Romeu, but I think if City can, if Arsenal can take some inspiration from City in that regard, be narrow, be compact, limit Barcelona to lower amount of shots, you're going to have to get a bit of the rub of the green. That's natural in football when you're playing a side like Barcelona, who are such a dominant force. You're going to have to get fortunate. But the easiest way to manage that is to play that more risk-averse football, to be a bit more compact at the back and then look to transition quickly and hurt them in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. They're over the green. You look at the games Barcelona have lost this season against Man City. Alexandria had to clear one off the line. They pounced on errors from Catalina Cole. They did, when they got lucky, they took advantage of it. Real Madrid did the same. Real Madrid won that game, that El Clasico, pretty in controversial fashion. Barcelona pushed out a goal, but that didn't count. Real Madrid took advantage of that, and they went and scored a second and put the game beyond doubt. And that's what Arsenal have got to do today. When they need to get the rub of the green, but if they get an opportunity, if they can get a stroke of luck, they have to take it. If Catalina Cole makes a mistake, you have to punish. If a defender takes a poor touch or a sloppy back pass, you've got to take advantage of it. If Arsenal get opportunities today, they have to take them. Because I think the biggest problem against Barcelona is if you get chances and miss them, you leave yourself so vulnerable to getting hit back. And for Arsenal today, they've got to be clinical. But I don't doubt that, because I do think that in that 11, they've got some very clinical players.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arsenal in attacking areas have been really good this season. In 2025, in just the WSL, there's only 2 games they didn't score at least 3 goals in. That was Chelsea and Brighton. And Barcelona don't have Helena Kankovic. So how could they beat Arsenal? That is the big question. But yeah, I think we've seen Arsenal be very clinical in front of goal. So if they can get opportunities today, there's a chance they'll take them. Barcelona are a very difficult side to generate chances against, but they're not impossible. We've seen teams beat them before. We've seen teams go incredibly close. You've just got to make life difficult for them and then hope for the best.
Yeah, and I've seen another thing, another factor Pitler mentioned is obviously the experience that comes with this Barcelona side, and I completely agree. They've got a starting 11 that is, and a squad that is full of players who have been here before, who have won this trophy multiple times, and who have played in countless big matches, countless finals. But Arsenal also have quite a experienced squad. Kim Little has been here and won every single trophy bar the Champions League. They've got Caldente, who has been here with Barcelona before and won this competition numerous times. They've got multiple European Championship winners in this squad. So yes, Barcelona have a wealth of experience, but Arsenal have experienced players in their own right. So they have players who have cut trumps in finals and who have delivered on the biggest stage. So I do think that both sides have players that can change this game. Barcelona, obviously do have more players, big players, and more game changers, but Arsenal do have players that, as you say, if they get in the right areas, if they get on the ball, can really cause trouble for Barcelona today.
Yeah, indeed. Kayla, welcome to the stream. Says the dedication to a little Caldente pivot is still surprising to me. Well, let's get to that. Let's get to the Arsenal team in general, actually, before we touch on the pivot. But I know Harry wants to talk about that. So let's have a look at the teams. Of course, we are in Lisbon for this final. We'll start with the designated home side, which is, of course, Arsenal. It's a 4-2-3-1 for the Gunners. In goal, Daphne van Domselaar. A back 4 of Fox, Williamson, Catley and Katie McCabe. In the pivot, Little and Caldente. Across the 3, Kelly, Marnham and Ford. And leading the line, Alessia Russo. Let's start then with the pivot. It's the biggest talking point. We spoke about it in the preview. It's been mentioned in chat by Kayla. And I know you mentioned it before stream, Harry. What are your gripes with that setup?
It's absolutely criminal from Slagers. We've seen time and time again this season, especially recently, that against the bigger sides, against sides who play a 3-player midfield or have quality in that midfield, that the pivot of Little and Caldente gets overrun. Yes, it worked against Lyon, but again, that Lyon, yes, they played a 3-player midfield, but with Dumonet in there, it was more like a 2. And 2-on-2, it kind of worked. And
but
Lyon
is the Barca midfield not as aggressive as the Lyon midfield? I know you've got Putellas and Bomatu who can contribute defensively, but they're both very attacking players in there. And even Gallardo can play defensive midfield very adequately, but she's not a natural, more defensive player. She is a more a forward-thinking player. I know she plays that deeper role and to very high proficiency, but it is a more advanced midfield. Are Arsenal looking to match that?
Potentially so. The problem will come though is that if Bonmati and Putas do get high and they do get onto Little and Caldente, they're going to get suffocated. And it's what we saw against Aston Villa. It's what we saw against Brighton, especially was the big one, where the likes of Kankovic and Kirby were pushing right onto Little and Caldente, and they were forcing errors. And if Kankovic and Kirby can do that for Brighton, Putas and Bonmati will do that today for Barcelona. And that's my biggest concern. I don't doubt the quality that Little and Caldente have when they're going forwards. I think on the ball they're brilliant, but the problem is if they're getting boxed in and they're only getting the ball in their own third, they're gonna keep getting dispossessed because there won't be a way out. And that I think that's my biggest problem with this pivot is that they get caught on the ball, but also the defensive cover. Someone like a Lea Vauti gives you a little bit more stability, a little bit more security, and gives you cover. Say if Williamson wants to step up, or if McCabe pushes on, and Vauti can go across and cover there, and Catley can shift across as well. I just think I think it's a clumsy error from Slagers to stick with Little and Caldente. Again, it's a little bit naive. I think that from Slagers, she's a permanent manager now. I'd have liked to seen that adaptation. I'd like to seen that forward thinking to realise that Little Caldente pivot isn't working at the moment and to make that change. The fact that she hasn't changed it for me is a big surprise, and I think that it could potentially let Arsenal down today.
I do agree to an extent. To play devil's advocate to a bit, I think playing Little and Caldente in there, much more mobility. I think if you're looking at how they're going to play today, Arsenal are going to be narrow and compact anyway. So yes, that you want to track those runs, but the only way that they would have that space is if Arsenal have gone forwards and are then retreating. So I think that adds to it a little bit. I think the other thing is that it's a bit of just trust what has worked before.
Yeah.
Arsenal played this pivot a lot this season. You don't go and change things before the Champions League final. As much as Vauti might make more tactical sense, you don't change things ahead of such a big game. So I think if Arsenal are looking to beat Barcelona today, the best way they're going to do it, or a way they could do it, is if they can bait Barcelona in the press. Because a very good attacking team, don't get me wrong, Barcelona, but we've not seen them be a proficient pressing unit. Because they don't need to be. They always have the ball. Every game you watch them play, they have 60-70% possession. If Arsenal get a foot on the ball today and look to play out from the back and bait Barcelona to press to then create space for players like Caldente and Little, or those attacking players, and use Caldente as Little as those baiters, I think you can create space that way. So I understand it to an extent. I think for me, I'd have still gone Lea Vauti in this game. We've seen enough of her in that role this season to know she can play that position. I think the problem with having Katie McCabe is she's not a very good defender. So by bringing in someone like Vauti, you can drop her into the back line and then push Catley wider when McCabe gets caught high, which happens so often for Arsenal. Not saying McCabe is a bad player necessarily, but she's not a very good defender, and dealing with the threat of Barcelona's Hansen on that right wing, that's going to be a really tough ask today for Barcelona. And we saw the opening goal in the game against Lyon came down that right-hand side, came from that direct run of Diani, came because McCabe was out of position.
Yeah, discipline is massively important for Arsenal across the board, but especially, as you say, for someone like McCabe who likes to get forward and can get dragged out of position very often. It is about that discipline. It's about being aware of where they are on the football pitch. I spoke about the organisation of that back line. Again, you mentioned that Lyon first leg. With that first goal, the back line was all over the place. And again, you don't want a completely flat back line, but that back line was practically a vertical diagonal.
It's the lack of organisation that then led to Emily Fox being out of position, which led Diani being online.
Williamson in there as a senior centre-half, as a massive leader, has to keep that back four organised. And it's also on Steph Catley as that left centre-half to have that communication with your left back and to let McCabe know when she's getting too high, when she's getting drawn out. Because if Arsenal, again, we speak about Arsenal being compact and narrow, a lot of that will come down to discipline. If they're disciplined in their shape and they keep to their positions and don't get dragged out by Barcelona, you then basically, by Arsenal doing that, if they are disciplined and they're compact, they're basically going to Barcelona, you come and break us down. But if Arsenal get dragged out and they run all over the place and they're caught out of position, then you're inviting Barcelona to come and score.
Well, I think as well, we often say, Arsenal need to be narrow compact, they need to be defensively minded. When we say that, it's not sit on the edge of your box.
Oh, yeah.
It's more what we saw with Chelsea against Man City. If you sit on the edge of the box, you're just inviting Barcelona to come onto you, and eventually that pressure is going to become too much. it wants to be more of a mid-block. We saw when Chelsea played Man City, the distance between the attacking line and the back line was so small because they basically just made the pitch incredibly difficult. They made it a very tight block, so it was very difficult to play passes through. They try to play over the top, the back line steps up and will play offside. It's got to be something like that. And we saw in that game, Sonny Baltimore, who is a very attacking player, naturally a winger, in the same sense that McCabe, I would say, is naturally a winger, play a very defensive position. And that's the sort of role Katie McCabe has to play in this game.
Yeah.
She's got to be defensively minded. If she goes wandering, if she gets caught high up the pitch, it could leave the space for Barcelona to exploit. And you can't leave any space for Barcelona to exploit because they will exploit it. Yeah. Because they're basically Barcelona. We've seen this time and time again.
Exactly. You are right. I think that Barcelona, they're an incredible football team, and it is important for Arsenal to find that balance between wanting to win the Champions League final, but also playing against Barca rather than playing their own stuff. Arsenal need to set up today in a way that will stop Barcelona winning. And it's as simple as that, because Barcelona, they will come out and they will start fast. They will try and hit Arsenal early, try and hit Arsenal hard. They've done it in other games. They've done it perfectly so far through the knockouts, is getting that early goal or putting that early pressure on. For example, against Chelsea, they got that early penalty. Yes, it was saved, but Barcelona were putting the pressure on and they won themselves a spot kick. And they did it against Wolfsburg. They huffed and they puffed and they got that goal and they led. Not a single time through the knockouts have they been behind, and that's crucial. Because, again, that's what they'll try and do today. Barcelona will not want to be behind at any point in this football match. Because if it goes 1-0 Arsenal, then suddenly there's a lot of pressure on Barca. But for the Spanish side today, they will look to come out and lead this game early doors. Because they know if they get an early couple of goals, they kill this game off. At 1-0, 1-0 Arsenal will always be in the game. And this is, again, a big factor for Arsenal. Do not fall behind by multiple goals. Keep yourself in the game. At 1-0, they've always got a shot. Doesn't matter if Barcelona have had 35 shots and Arsenal have 3. If it's only 1-0 to Barcelona, then Arsenal have still got every chance of getting a goal and sending us to extra time. Arsenal have to keep themselves in the game today. Barcelona, they'll look to kill this game off early.
And I think Barcelona aren't infallible defensively. We've seen that even in games this season where they're completely dominant over teams. They've conceded goals. They've lost games this season. In normal seasons, they don't do that. And we've seen these players make mistakes when they've played for Spain, for example. I remember Spain in the Olympics last summer where we saw so many errors from Cole and Paredes. If that happens today, that's something that Arsenal can definitely exploit. So Barca aren't infallible. We shouldn't be fooled into thinking that. They're an incredibly good team, so I understand why people would just naturally assume there's no chance today for Arsenal. And I think any realistic predictions would be that Barcelona will win this game. But I think there's a chance for Arsenal today, a much bigger chance than a lot of Barcelona fans will give them credit for. I think it will be a closer game perhaps than many are expecting.
Yeah. Do you want to go through the 11 for Barcelona today?
Yeah, we haven't actually spoken about Barcelona's team because it writes itself really, doesn't it? Let's have a look there at the 4-3-3 deployed by Pere Romeu in this game. In goal, it's Catalina Cole, a back four of Battier, Paredes, Leon and Firlino Rolfo. In the middle three, it's Aitana Bonmati, Patrick Ayaro and Alexia Puteas, and a front line of Caroline Graham-Hansen, Eva Payor and Claudia Pina.
It's a really, really good team. I think
Really good.
I think the biggest question on that left-hand side between Pina and Paraluelo. Pina is favoured for me. That is the correct decision. Claudia Pina comes into this top goal scorer in the Champions League, and bar four goals from Caroline Russo, she will finish as top goal scorer in the Champions League this season. Has enjoyed a brilliant campaign up in that front three with Payor, who has enjoyed the best campaign of any Barcelona player.
Of any striker in women's football history at 40-odd goals this season.
It's just been absolutely incredible. And again, she'll look to add to that number today. And that Barcelona front line will look to cause a lot of problems for Arsenal today. It's a brilliant back line, as you say. Yes, they've made errors, and yes, they've looked a bit shaky at times. But overall, on their day, no one can get past that back four. And I think that McCabe needs to take a leaf out of Rolfo's book. Rolfo is the best example of an attacking fullback who is really disciplined. And
doesn't need to be.
Well, that is
Barcelona are never defending transitions. And if they are, they're fast enough, physical enough to get back in.
Maybe today's a day she's going to have to be disciplined. No, you never know. But it's a ridiculously strong Barcelona side. They are looking to stamp their authority once again on a European final. What they've done over the last couple of years brilliantly when they've played against the likes of Lyon and when they smashed Chelsea and when they beat Wolfsburg was to start fast and really get onto the other team. Don't let the other side breathe. Arsenal, they need to match that intensity, need to bring that intensity, and hopefully we're going to see a brilliant game, a brilliant pre-match show, by the way, with the tifos and the flags and the dancers with golden wings. They're my favourite. Brilliant atmosphere. Sold out stadium.
One word for it.
I think it's brilliant. It's great. It's exactly what I want to see. A bit of dancing and whatever, flag waving, whatever you want to call it.
At least Ollie Murs isn't there.
That is
Should
true.
always be worth.
Yeah.
But they're certainly creating atmosphere here in Lisbon. Bernie, welcome to the stream. Says, hello lads, hope you're doing well. All my faves are live for this game, so I'm watching all of you. Good to know. Thank you for joining us, Bernie. Even if you are giving all of our competition views.
That would be really difficult to try.
They're all maybe they're all just on at the same time.
Yeah.
Carnage.
But yeah, lovely tifo as well from Barcelona. Again, a fan base, a team that have been here before and have done it before. Yeah. They know what it takes, and I think that is something as well. Arsenal fans have got to bring that atmosphere. They've got to match Barcelona, and we know those Barca fans bring an incredible amount of noise, and they're really good at getting their side over the line.
Especially outside the ground, because it's so close, obviously, to Spain. The amount of Barcelona fans in Lisbon is utterly ridiculous.
But in the ground, Arsenal have got to match that volume. Have got to make sure they can try and give their side that extra boost to go out and win this final.
Yeah, indeed. Should be a very interesting game. Both sets of players taking now to the field, and that means only one thing for our stream. It's time for predictions. Our last game of club football of the year, Harry, of the season. A remarkable moment. Let's get into some predictions then. If you're watching along in the live chat, let us know your predictions. Harry, though, we'll start here in the studio with yourself. What is your prediction for the Champions League final?
It's the Champions League final. Weird things can happen. Something crazy is surely going to kick off in this game. I tell you what, it's a really difficult one to predict. I think that obviously Barcelona favourites. They've got the quality, but there's something about Arsenal, that character, that determination. I'm going to go 1-1 in normal time and Arsenal to win it in extra time. I just think something's in the air today.
Out you go.
I know, but I think Arsenal will nick it. I think it'll be a really good contest. I think Arsenal will score early on, take a lead. Barcelona will then spend the rest of the game trying to get back into it. They will equalise towards the latter stage of the fixture. We'll go to extra time, and it will be Arsenal to nick it in the additional 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think I need to counteract that with an equally wacky prediction. So I'm going to say Arsenal 0, Barcelona 5. Just so we're both on each end of the spectrum there of craziness, and everyone else can be rational in the middle. Bernie's saying 2-1 Barca. Phil says 4-1 Arsenal. Hopium as my alternative as a battering for us. Yeah, fair enough. That is, at least you're admitting your prediction's mental. But yeah, should be a very interesting game. Yeah. Players shaking hands, taking to the field. Here we go, Champions League final time. Yeah, the biggest. I think I like Slager's presser. I like the fact that she said Arsenal need courage if they want to go and win this final, and I think that's the best way to put it. They cannot. Too many sides, too many players are afraid of Barcelona. It's true, they are, and that's why sides get smashed by them, because they walk out onto the football pitch and they go, oh my days, we're playing Barcelona. Even teams like Chelsea, who are mentality monsters in the league, but they don't drop. They haven't lost a single game domestically, will wipe the floor with by Barcelona. And it's not because they're bad players. Chelsea's team, in terms of quality, competes with Barcelona, but they didn't in that game because they fell apart mentally. Because the challenge of playing Barcelona isn't the players on the field as good as they are. It's all in the head. Yeah. Barcelona's mentality is incredible. Arsenal today have to be fearless. They have to believe in themselves. Because if you go out there thinking, oh, this is Barcelona, then you've lost the game before you've even started. Yeah, again, it's one of those things. You have to be realistic and you have to know your opponent. But at the end of the day, in a Champions League final, the mentality should be, I don't care who my opponent is. This is my team. We're in a final and we're going to go win the trophy. That's exactly where someone like McCabe can make a difference. The fact she just doesn't care, she will just go and kick. Yeah, Caroline. There is a fine line because also she gets sent off after 5 minutes, and then the game's over. Yeah, but you have to be careful. And I think, as you say, if McCabe can curve that aggression and that fight, that desire to go and win the game, then she can be a massive tool for Arsenal today. If she gets the wrong way, she can be a massive tool for Arsenal.
She can be, and she'll find herself in the book. But we want to see a good refereeing performance, a fair refereeing performance, and a brilliant game of football between two sides who both deserve to be in this final, who have both worked hard to get to this final. Whatever happens, happens. But either way, I think whatever the result, it's going to be a brilliant watch.
I hope they both lose. Yi Chen says 3-2 Arsenal, I hope. Fair enough, Yi Chen. Loving the
5-goal thriller.
the belief in these Arsenal predictions. And yeah, indeed, 5 goals would be. I've also gone for 5 goals.
Yeah.
Didn't say that.
5-0 doesn't count as a 5-goal thriller.
That'd be thrilling.
Not for Arsenal. But yeah, this again, it's important as well for Arsenal to settle those early nerves. No mistakes, just get on the ball and work your way into the game. Bring that intensity, but don't go hell for leather and end up just throwing everything away early doors. Big moments for both sides.
And it is Barcelona to get us underway here in Lisbon. Barcelona's 5th consecutive final gets underway here. It's Arsenal versus Barcelona in Lisbon for the 2025 Champions League final. Barcelona looking for a 3rd in a row, 4th in total. Arsenal looking for their 2nd ever title and their 1st since 2007. It's been a long time, but Arsenal are finally back on the premium stage in European competition, and now they're here to compete against the world's best. Fox. Now Leah Williamson on this right-hand side, and they'll look to go direct here from the off Arsenal. But that one will be seen out of play by Maria Leon.
Yeah, don't mind that from Arsenal. Again, early doors, not trying to do anything silly, not overplaying the ball. If the pass is on, brilliant, get the ball down and play your football. But in the early stages of such a big game, just go long. If you feel you're under pressure, if you don't feel like taking that risk, just get that ball long. And I think that's important for Arsenal, is that sometimes gambles and risks can win you football games, but they can also cost you games. So it's about finding a good balance for both sides today.
Nabatsier trying to break away with the ball there. Caitlin Ford winning it high up the field. Here's Russo. Options forward now for Arsenal as they break into Barcelona's 3rd. Here's McCabe. And they're going to be forced backwards here. Catley. And that's a ball played forward. And that will end up in the hands of Cassina Cole. And well, I feel like I have to mention it. Sunderland are a Premier League club. Just seeing that come through. They've got a 95th minute winner. Which is something to mention on a Champions League final stream. Maybe Arsenal can take inspiration from that team in red and white. And that is a ball one high up the field again here. Really good pressing from Arsenal in these early stages. Marnham fighting for it. Out low for a Barcelona goal kick.
Yeah.
Really good stuff from Arsenal so far.
Yeah, and although it's not turning into corners and not getting anything from it, they're just being assertive. They're causing Barcelona issues. And that's the most important thing at this stage, is that they are turning that ball over. And yes, they're not managing to create anything, or they haven't managed to test Cassina Cole, but they're winning that ball back. And that is important, because that will give them the belief that they can turn the ball over and can get an opportunity out of this.
Indeed. Here is Cole. Bernie says the only position Arsenal have a better player in is in goal. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd agree that Van Lotz probably edges out Cole for me. I'd say Fox over Battier, personally. But I know a lot of people disagree with that.
I saw a combined 11 on, I think it was Galactico.
Yeah, that was voted for, isn't it, by fans?
Abysmal. It just, every time I scrolled through and saw the next comparison, I just wanted to cry. Some of them, I mean, McCabe got voted ahead of Rolfo.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Williamson got voted over.
I feel like there's Russo and Payor as a conversation.
That's a difficult one. That's a really
difficult one.
Who do you think?
Payor.
Yeah, I think
I'd say close. Well, I'd say Shaw's ahead of all of them anyway.
Oh, Shaw's ahead of everyone.
Yeah. But no, I think Payor is overrated, but she's still an incredible footballer.
Will she come up big for Barcelona today?
Possibly.
Probably.
There's a good chance she will.
But we'll wait and see. But again, Arsenal here, they've pressed Barcelona, they've turned it over, and they've won themselves a throw. You can tell both sides just want to settle into this game. Settle down, get on the ball.
Plays down the line. Marnham competing for it here, and that's seen out really well. And Marnham, they're left up in the sideboard by Patrick Gallardo.
Yeah, it was a long throw. It's another one where it just felt like...
Was there really that need for much of a shove there?
No, well, to be fair, I think Marnham had plenty of stopping time. I'm not really sure.
Everyone's it goes straight downhill.
Yeah. But I do think that
the pitch there.
Barcelona seem to have a real problem early doors with the ball just running out of play. That's a long throw, so a couple of long balls that have just been overhit and have ended up going out for a goal kick.
Here is Rolfo. Looking for a pass forwards, tries to find Pina in there. It's one back by Arsenal, and now they can look to break again. Here's Ford, tries to feed it through, goes the wrong way with the pass though. That'll end up with Catalina Cole, but very narrow at the moment from Arsenal. Exactly what we said they need to do. Very narrow, very compact. And they've made life difficult so far for Barcelona. Barcelona haven't played out yet.
No, and they won that ball back there for a brilliant piece of defending from Williamson. It's very risky to do what she did there, to step in and intercept the ball, because if you get it wrong, you've left a massive hole behind you. But that time she got it right and she turned the ball over. And again, if she can keep doing that for Arsenal, Barcelona are going to struggle to get that ball into Payol.
And here is Aitana Bonmati carrying the ball forwards for Barcelona. Options on the left and the right-hand side. Sprays it out to this right-hand side. The first time Barcelona coming forwards in this match. Caroline Graham-Hansen cut out well by McCabe. Falls back for Battier. McCabe again. The aggressor as a defender, winning the ball back. Ball now spills out to the right-hand side again. And it's Hansen trying to keep it in touch. That's out for an Arsenal throw, though.
Yeah, again, it was well dealt with by McCabe initially. I do think she then got a little bit excited and just went ball chasing. And again, it's finding that balance, because I think she did well initially to stand Graham Hansen up, but then once Graham Hansen shifted it, she just went chasing the ball and tried to win it back.
But I don't mind that because Ford is there.
That is
McCabe,
true.
So
yeah.
Going and pushing into that position is fine, I think, as long as there's someone to cover for you.
That is
this
true.
is what I was going to say with the Calete little pivot, is if both the wingers are dropping deeper, it allows the fullbacks to pick up those runs of Bonmati and Putellas if they're going wide. Leon tries to lift that out to Fridolina Rolfo. Massively overhit pass though, and that's out now for a throw. Poor pass from Mape Leon.
Yeah, just again, early doors on Champions League final. That's the kind of pass that I think 9 times out of 10 she probably nails. But just overhitting it. But that's what Arsenal have done early. They've brought that intensity, and they're matching Barcelona at the moment and making it a little bit difficult.
Catley now into Ford, and that's an ambitious pass. Just overexcited there.
Yeah.
Tries to drill it into McCabe, and that's overhit.
Again, exactly what we've just seen from Leon. Just overhits it. Hasn't settled into the game
Well, there
yet.
is a difference, I think, in the sense that Leon's is too casual and Ford's is too desperate.
Yeah.
So Ford's trying to get that attack ignited quickly. And Leon, I think, just didn't really... It was too casual.
Yeah.
Pass. Ball out to his left-hand side. Fox gets there really well and knocks out of play. Barcelona throw, though, and again, they're high up the field.
Yeah, Barcelona working well. Now they're starting to cause problems for Arsenal. And again, that is a silly foul, that.
Ball into the box. Header from Payol, and that will bounce wide.
Yeah, I think Arsenal were lucky that one wasn't actually pulled up, because the free kick was given, the advantage was played, but then Rolfo didn't really seem to move with it. I think she was expecting to stop and get the free kick. It was a quick throw, and it was it
back to
Kelly
Pina.
out there?
Kelly
Caught Pina. And then Rolfo kind of stands there, and I don't know if she's waiting for the free kick to be given, or...
I think she's lost her option to play it to.
Yeah.
There's not that much in it. There's definitely caught catches
Yeah,
up, but
the advantage was played, and I think Barcelona were probably hoping to get a free kick in that position, but instead they were allowed to play on and didn't really make the most of it. I feel like if Rolfo had realised the situation and carried on playing, they'd have got a better chance.
yeah. Here is Leah Williamson. And that ball is punted forwards, brought down well in there by Caitlin Ford. Now looks to lift out to the right-hand side. Rolfo, header down, falls to Frida Marnham. Now here come Arsenal. Marnham, wide into Kelly, and that's cut out. Now Barcelona will look to play out from the back. Putellas. Pass now with Leon. Putellas. Here is Gallardo. Finds Bonmati in the pocket. Fox will keep tight to her. Stops her turning, and now it's forced back to Patrick Gallardo.
The way Bonmati just floats around and just pops up in the space is just incredible.
That's another poor pass. Does really well to recover it there. Fridolina Rolfo. Ball inside to Payol. Nice positive touch. He'll look to get a run now at Catley. Catley does well. McCabe with a mess of it. Punched away by Van Domselaar. Recovered by Calente. Almost dropping to a Barca player. But Arsenal get away with it. Given away high up the field again. Cleared away just about by Leah Williamson. But Arsenal there hanging on the ropes.
And I tell you what, they won't get away with that again. You speak about not making mistakes and not having messy moments. That was a calamity from Arsenal. They've somehow got away with it.
Again, though, you do have to ride your fortune sometimes. We even saw it in the Lyon game when they gave an opportunity from an open goal, pretty much, to Van der Donk.
Yeah.
And she put it wide.
But there, Catley just was always going to struggle to win that.
Kelly, ball in behind. And if Russo's on side here, it's a great chance. Not back to a goalkeeper there. By Onabatier, and the flag does go up afterwards.
But yeah, Payot, it's a really good flick around the corner from Payot, and Catley was always going to struggle to win that foot race. I thought Van Domstal was going to come and help her out, but she didn't. And Catley managed to clear it across her own box.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what Catley does.
No, Catley didn't do anything wrong.
Response to it.
Yeah, no, I don't know what McKay was doing, but what I'm saying is that Catley was struggling to win that foot race, and she only just got there. That's on some. I was expecting Van Domstal to come running out.
I don't think she could, because I don't think Van Nossel would have got there ahead of Payot if she'd skinned Catley and then she just lifts it over.
Yeah.
I think Catley always had that, to be fair, and ultimately did in the end, so it was the right call.
Just came and just kicked it back in the air, chipped it out.
Didn't read the fact that Catley was going to scoop it that way, but I don't know what else you thought Catley was going to do with that pass.
And Arsenal got away with it, as you say, that's the main thing. They just got to ride your luck. They dealt with it eventually. They got a clear foot on the ball and got the ball out of play.
Yeah.
And suddenly they pop up and they're 10 minutes through a Champions League final and they're still 0-0. And that's a big important step.
Definitely. Here come Arsenal. Good pass from Little into Mariona Caldente. Options on the left-hand side now for Caldente. Forced this way by the aggression there of Pina. Manages to flare pass out to the right-hand side to Fox. Brilliant from Mariona Caldente. Now Kelly looking to take on Fridolin Arolfo. Shimmies a one-way pass inside now to Emily Fox, who delivered it to the back post. Transfer Caitlin Ford heads across goal, but she skewed it just wide. Good chance for Arsenal, though. Really well worked move.
Yeah, and they've threatened to do this. They've turned it over brilliantly in the first 10 minutes, but this one actually turned into something. It's good football from the left to the right. Little puts a very, very dangerous ball in, and I'll tell you what, Caitlin Ford would like that one back. She times the run brilliantly. She's unmarked.
She's not really running onto it, she's running with it.
Caught in two minds there, whether to head it back across goal to someone else or whether to head it goalwards, and does a bit of both and ends up heading it wide. But better from Arsenal, and they're showing that when they do turn that ball over, they can look to cause Barcelona problems.
Ball slides through, Payol gets there, good from Little to win it back. Caldente gives it away. Here's Bonmati, and they can't let her turn like that in there, but she does really well. Now Puteas lifts it in behind. Headed away there by Catley. Drops in there now for Pina. And now Hansen on this right-hand side. McKay squares her up nicely. But Battier into Bonmati. Chance for Barcelona, and that's blocked up in the air. And saved by Van Domselaar.
That's a really important touch, but it's too easy. It's really good from Bonmati. It's a lovely little... she picks it up and just fakes it and goes backwards, but she sends two people.
She's got to do better there.
Yeah, she should score.
Bonmati.
It's poor defending, but it's a brilliant interception. Who's that coming across?
Block. It's Kelly coming back in.
Yeah. But Catley and McKay both got sent by the same dummy. You can't afford that to happen. You've got to stand up. And Bonmati fakes the shoot on the right, sticks it onto her left, and as you say, probably should do better. And it's a last-ditch tackle from Kelly that manages to smother it a little bit. But both sides, when they get forward, they're looking pretty dangerous. When they both come forward and challenge, when they're both getting the ball into each other's final third, both sides look pretty creative, which is exactly from a neutral point of view great to see in Champions League final.
Yeah, huge threat at the moment from Arsenal, which is I think higher than we expected. Barcelona, of course, in line with expectations probably, but so far thwarted quite well by Arsenal.
Yeah, really good standards at the
McCabe.
moment.
Plays a ball down the line. Really good ball from McCabe. And forwards in a dangerous position again. And here come Arsenal. Ball towards the back post. It's going to lie nicely for Kelly. And she's made a mess of that. She's got to keep that down for me. That's a great ball. She's unmarked there by Fridolin Arolfo. Got to catch that sweeter than that in this sort of competition.
But yeah, she has. And as you say, gets it horribly wrong. But again, read your situation there. She can afford to take it. Yeah. Understand why she's going to do it, and if she catches that nicely and puts it top left corner, one of the greatest Champions League final goals we've ever seen. But that was always 9 times out of 10. That was always going to go wide. You take your time, take a touch in there.
Well, I think in a normal game she buries it. You've just the volley there. She just gets the technique wrong.
Just skims it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she caught that sweetly. I'll tell you what, Barcelona would be in trouble.
But that's exactly what you've got to do to beat a goalkeeper like Cassie Nicole. You've got to catch a volley travelling at you at 40 miles an hour and you've got to volley it home.
Yeah, great ball from Ford, by the way. Perfect weight. Got it over the penalty area and a really good height for Kelly to come onto it and volley it.
And the pace is good because if she transfers that pace into power, that's a really difficult shot. If it's a floated one, then Kelly's got to generate the pace.
Yeah. But again, positive start from Arsenal. Barcelona, as expected so far, and I think that's the big difference at the moment is that Barcelona are playing at their normal standard. Arsenal have raised their level at the moment, and that's really encouraging to see.
Yeah.
It's whether how that standard is going to dip and change across the next 75 minutes or so.
Here is Paredes. Will look to lift that in behind. Hansen now wants a run at McCabe. McCabe does well to deal with her initially, though. Does now have the Norwegian on her back, but it's a ball down the line out of play to deal with it.
Yeah, don't mind that, though. Again, not trying to overplay it, not doing anything that she doesn't need to do. Bit of pushing and shoving going on between Marnham and Gallardo in there. And Gallardo's made the run and Marnham's not gone with her because they're too busy worrying about pushing each other.
Catley does well there to handle Payor initially, and it's clumsy from McCabe to give away a corner there. No need for her to get involved with that.
No, Catley's dealing with it. She kicked it back on and they concede the corner because Catley kicks it into McCabe because McCabe's come running back in.
That's twice now her rashness has been to Arsenal's detriment.
Again, it's discipline. It's that just being a little bit calmer. Just need to bring that into the game because you don't want to be giving away silly corners. Look what happened in the semi-final. Chelsea gave away a corner and ended up conceding a penalty for it, and that through complete accident. But that's what happens in football sometimes. So you can't afford.
Here, marking the corner taker. Ball in from Leon towards the back post, headed away well by Marnham. Now here's Gallardo. Battier. Bonmati. And now Leon. It's been really interesting to see Bonmati become less of a creative player and more of a recycler.
Yeah.
This season. We've seen, or at least in the Champions League, she may still be playing attacking positions when she plays in the Liga F. But I think what we've seen of her in these big Champions League games is her become more of a double pivot. A lopsided double pivot, but still more of a double pivot often with her and Gallardo.
There's been quite a few punches early doors from Van Domselaar, and while I don't mind it, because again, not taking no risks, just getting the ball gone, they've got to be careful because obviously, claiming the ball is much more assertive and much better for the team than punching it.
Here is Hansen now looking to take on Little, and Little just on the right edge, right line there. Right side of the line of physicality. Here's Kelly. Goes down under pressure from Battier. Does well to hold on to the ball. Caldente lifting it down the line. Russo trying to control it. But she is shoved there by Paredes. And it has been given as a free kick. Really good officiating that. Because that's the kind of one that you don't get against Barcelona.
Yeah.
Normally. But that's really strong officiating because Paredes has just shoved her.
Yeah, really, it was, again, it's one of those smart defending, because as you say, 8 times out of 10 you get away with it and you've won your side of throw because you've just nudged the player off her touch, but...
McCabe here really taking liberties with how much.
Yeah.
With how high she can go.
There we go. They've worked, and she's just dragged it. I mean, again, though, you don't mind that in a game like this. You've got to try and steal every yard you can.
Kelly pokes one through. And that's smashed back to Catalina Cole by Battier. She can't pick this up, so Arsenal got to bear that in mind with how they press her.
Arsenal, I think, we're very happy. First 18 minutes, Barcelona won't be content with the way. Yeah, if you're told an Arsenal fan 18 minutes in the Champions League final you'll be 0-0 Barcelona, I think they're very much taken that when they woke up this morning.
We're very far away from it, so let's not talk prematurely. But if it does go to penalties, do Arsenal have the advantage?
It's one of the delights of knockout football. Is you can be second best for 120 minutes. You can play defensive football and then just win it on penalties because it's knockout football.
Well, I just think Van Donsel's a better goalkeeper and definitely a better penalty saver. I mean, obviously, when it comes down to mentality, you'd imagine Barcelona will be able to handle the pressure better.
They're a lottery. Penalties are a lottery.
Yeah, indeed.
Which I think favours Arsenal more than it does Barcelona.
Yeah, they love lotteries.
They love the lottery, Arsenal. Yeah, they've got. Hope they're lucky dogs there and everything.
Yeah, win. What's they up to? Bon Mati. That's the name, isn't it?
I know, it's just ridiculous.
Barcelona thrown out on that far side. Phil says, I understand the hate from other fans, but McCabe Shiazri is funny. Oh, it's when she does it against Barcelona, it's hilarious. There's no team who deserve it more. But, yeah, when she does it against other teams,
If
it's awful.
I think if a club I support had a player like that, yeah, I think it's hilarious.
Of course, it depends on what you're talking about, because things like that are hilarious,
Yeah.
but there are moments when that Shiazri just becomes cheating.
Yeah, when you're just smashing the people off the ball in North London derbies, or just kicking the life out of people, and that's just being that's just being a dirty player. But I do agree, when you're doing tricks with the ball and you're time wasting and you're doing silly things to get other players in the book and stuff, or to wind other players up, I completely rate that. I love that, especially in big games like this.
Again, Paredes are incredibly aggressive with Russo. It's exactly what you'd expect. But Russo doing well to ride those challenges.
Yeah, but also Russo, because Paredes has kicked out, got on the ball there and kicked out for a throw. Arsenal, there's nothing wrong with that. It is a big, but I agree. Russo's doing well because she knows that challenge is coming. When they're along that line, she knows there's going to be a nudge. She knows there's going to be a free kick.
I think they're quite lucky to get a throw there because I think it's a foul.
Nah, she gets the ball.
I don't think she touches the ball.
No, she did because it's a throw.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it is a throw.
Oh no, we did watch the replay back there.
Oh, I was watching the replay. I don't know what I was saying. Didn't look like she got anywhere near the ball.
No, she kicked it off. Russo flicked it, looked to flick it around the corner. But I like that from Russo.
It looked for me from the replay that she flicked it round her and Paredes took more of the player than she did the ball. But Russo trying to flick over the head there. Paredes, Mape, Leon dealing with it.
I like that positive from Russo. Positivity. He's trying to flick it around the corner every time. Trying to beat a marker.
Well, in that sort of area, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, 100%. Not trying. I think her hold up.
As Phil says, it's very late from Paredes. Yeah, it's what you're going to see today.
Yeah.
Barca do master the dark arts. The best teams do.
Yeah.
We've seen it throughout Barcelona. I mean, remember the Champions League semi-finals last season when they got Khadija Buchanan sent off.
Yeah.
For no reason. But yeah, they will master those dark arts. They will play the refs in their hand.
But Arsenal can do that as well sometimes.
McCabe can do that. Here's Marlon. Big chance now for Arsenal. Drilled across the ball. Goal! A huge mistake from Paredes. And it's Arsenal 1, Barcelona 0. And that's just where you have to ask the question. You put the ball in the box and you let Barcelona make the mistake. And Paredes with a huge error. And it feels like the Olympics all over again. Because what is she doing there? They're going to I'll have a look here for Marnham being offside.
She's offside.
It does go too early. And that will cut short the Arsenal celebrations. And Barcelona are incredibly lucky because that is naive. That is naive and stupid from Paredes.
Just gets caught out.
Incredibly lucky that Marnham is just offside there.
Yeah, this won't count.
It'll be Arsenal 0, Barcelona 0. But for a moment there, Arsenal had the ascendancy.
I mean, we speak both sides. Arsenal got the rub of the green with the own goal going in, and now Barcelona got the rub of the green with the goal being disallowed, as expected.
Yeah, with automatic offsides, there's no question there, really, is there? We don't need to spend 10 hours drawing lines.
But it's positive. Arsenal have got to take the positives from it.
But yeah, Marnham gets into that position because she's lost. Bonmat has completely lost her in there. Sorry, Gallardo's completely lost her in there.
And the thing is there that even if Paredes doesn't put in her own goal, Russo's there to make it 1-0. But Arsenal got to take positives. Really,
I was initially going to dig Marnham out because the ball is really poor and that had to be a better pass.
But she just asked
just by putting a ball in there, just by asking that question, she forced Paredes to make that mistake.
And they don't get the goal.
And again, it shows there's a fallibility about these Barcelona players.
100%. They've just got to. Arsenal have started really well, brilliant first half of the 45. They've got to keep pushing. They've got to keep this pressure on because they are forcing Barcelona into errors. They're giving away free kicks. They're scoring own goals, and unfortunately for Arsenal, that one doesn't count. But they've got to keep going like this. Really good stuff from the Gunners. Barcelona, it's been very relaxed, which I think that is fine if you're winning the game. But at 0-0, I would have expected a little bit more intensity from Barcelona. I'd expect a little bit more urgency.
But I think there is an arrogance about Barcelona today. As much as we see it from the fans all the time, I think we've seen it from the players in the build-up to this. I really dislike Bonmati's comments coming into the game, where it felt like it was almost a courtesy, they deserve to be here. I was saying it was a surprise to see them there, because this Arsenal team is full of quality. And I think, while it may be that, to say that in a press conference felt incredibly disrespectful for me. And I think it is reflective of the Barcelona camp. They don't respect Arsenal like they would Lyon.
Yeah. Again, it happens to winners at the best times. It happens to Chelsea a couple of times.
Free kick for Arsenal. Yeah. And the ref is doing well here because she's not buying Barcelona's excuses.
100%. And I think that, as you say, it happens to winners. We see it with Lyon, we see it with Chelsea at times. Is when you win and win and win, you do start to undervalue the teams you're coming up against.
Yeah.
Especially when it isn't one of the predicted. It's why underdogs have won trophies before. You think back to some of the best FA Cup or
think back to last Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, we saw Crystal Palace win the FA Cup.
It's because the favourites and because the winning side can underestimate their opposition. And I think Barcelona have done that.
Is a genius.
And yeah. But Barcelona have done that in the first 25 minutes. But the problem for Arsenal, not to be a dampener on all the positivity that Arsenal fans will be having right now, is that when it's like this against Barcelona, when it's even, you have to take advantage. You have to take your chances. Because if you don't, Barcelona can turn it on just like that and suddenly they're 2-0 up. And that will be Arsenal's biggest problem. I think that Slagers will know that. While Arsenal have got a foothold in this final, they need to get a goal. They need to take advantage of it. And they were very unlucky that goal was ruled out because they've been pushing and they've been playing well.
Yeah, definitely. Fox.
And again, they've turned it over.
Here's Caldense. They've done a really good job so far. And again, it's exactly what we spoke about in the preview. It's exactly what we spoke about in the build-up to this game. It's the system that we saw Man City play. It's a very similar, narrow, compact system. And then they just look to win the ball back through those high turnovers, which you can get against Barcelona.
Yeah.
Because they have been trying to force the ball. And Caldente's taken out her teammate there, but then it's a mistake from Hansen. And now Arsenal have possession. McCabe.
Again, it's also, though, a really good balance between winning it back and realising that they need to go forward and winning it back and deciding to conserve and to recycle the ball.
Yeah, decision-making has been good so far from Arsenal. McCabe. Don't get me wrong, there's a few times I think they could push forwards. And I think if they are getting into the latter stages of the game, that hesitancy will change.
Yeah, or if they
I understand why they want to be more careful. Well, no, if they 1-0 up, everything goes backwards.
Yeah.
Run to the corner for the next
great ball.
However long. And Caldense there passing it into Bonmati, trying to win a corner. Bonmati does well to play out of it. Battier. Now Hansen, penned back here by Arsenal. Battier. Poor pass to Paredes. Cole will come in and deal with it though. And that's a big win in there from Catley. Marnham now lets it run, strikes it. Wow, huge save from Catalina Cole. Brilliant from Frida Marnham. She lets the ball run across her body and strikes it with venom. Catalina Cole matches it with a wonderful save to keep the scores level. But Arsenal here are the better side in this final so far.
Brilliant from Frida Marnham. We've praised her time and time again this season for being that player who has a shot, who takes that risk and who doesn't hesitate. And she's done it again there. Doesn't take any unnecessary touches. First time, has a go. The ball's already rolling, so it's got the momentum. And it's a really good stop from Catalina Cole to keep Barcelona level in this match. But again, positive signs from Arsenal. They're getting into good areas. And you feel if they keep this up, they're going to take advantage of them. First corner of the game, they'll look to cause a problem. The goal against Lyon, their first goal against Lyon, came from a corner.
And it's a ball delivered in towards the near post. It's going to drop in there for Arsenal. It's hit over the bar. Little there, leans back, strikes it, and it's gone flying. And you've just got to be a bit more composed in there. That should be 1-0 Arsenal.
Not to be critical, but an experienced player, Arsenal's captain, has got to do better there. She's unmarked in the box. She's under no pressure to hit it. Just has to get over the ball and hit it hard and low. Yeah. Instead, leans back and skies it.
That's looks concerned and understandably so.
I would 100% would be. Really, Arsenal have started really well and they're building into the game. What we thought would happen is that Arsenal might start fast, but the game would go towards Barcelona. At the moment, as the game goes on, Arsenal are getting better and better. All it takes, though, is one chance of Barcelona. One moment of quality and suddenly they're 1-0 up. But currently 4 shots to 2 in Arsenal's favour. Gunners have
And
started
they've swapped
brightly.
Ford and Kelly as well, by the way, and it's Ford down this right-hand side,
Brilliant.
bundled over there by Fridolin Arolfo. Good battle from the Aussie. And Arsenal now with a free kick up the field.
But again, talk about game management, talk about being smart. Ford realises that she's had 3-4 nudges. The one she goes down on is slightly soft, but because she's had 2 or 3 little, she's already been pushed 2 or 3 times, she realises she's always going to get that free kick.
Poor
Really
pass.
smart stuff. And that was then a poor pass, so ruined the moment. But
Indeed. Barcelona throw in now in their own half.
Barcelona need to get a foot on the ball.
back. It's Puteas. Gallardo, now Mape Leon. And here is Catalina Cole. Plays it forwards. Cut out well in there by McCabe. Now Kelly. Little. Catley. McCabe. Catley. Options ahead of her. Finds Chloe Kelly. Players in the box now. Queuing up. It's fallen to Ford at the back post. Pina tries to clear it away. Fox now will try and keep this in play. It's a Barcelona throw, and I'm not sure how they've given it that way.
I don't know, look at that. Really good defending from Pina, though. Does well to get in there before Ford and not give a penalty away. When you're running back in like that, it's very easy just to clumsily take out the opposition player, but good defending from Barcelona's winger. And now she
up from Pina.
Oh, that's a great
It
ball.
just feels to me like Barcelona aren't used to playing on the back foot, and they have been on the back foot for most of this game. They are now going to try and come forwards, though. Bonmati, Hansen, brilliant tackle from McKay. Gets the ball, gets a bit of the player as well for good measure. Battier. Now Bonmati. Looks to drive inside with the ball here. Aitana Bonmati, a magical drive. With those dancing feet with a shot saved well by Daphne Van Domselaar.
Yeah, well claimed. I think it's important for Van Domselaar. Shot on target from Barcelona and an opportunity for her to claim the ball and just get 2 hands behind it, but too easy from Arsenal. Bonmati has just danced past 3 players there and got a shot away.
But they force her into taking such an early shot.
They do. That is true.
So, on one hand, they've let Bonmati shoot. That's a great ball and Ford's in. Ford's in for Arsenal. Cole will sweep up wonderfully. And the flag then does go up afterwards. I'm not sure on that one. I thought the Marner one was offside beforehand, but that one looked a lot tighter.
Tell you what, it's one of those where Barcelona are managing that line, but all it takes is...
going to slip through the net.
Yeah, exactly. All it takes is one of these times they'll get it slightly wrong. One player will misjudge it by half a yard, and Arsenal could be in to score. Half an hour played though, and Arsenal have been the better side in this Champions League final. Didn't think we'd be saying that, but again, it's Bonmati who's trying to dance past 1 or 2, loses it. Leon sweeps up nicely, and just has a moment to get on the ball here. Again, lack of options. Arsenal sat very narrow and doing very well to limit the options, forcing Barcelona backwards. Really good stuff, Mark. Very impressed with Arsenal Slagers so far.
Yeah, indeed.
Because they've got this right. So they've got this right in the first 32 minutes.
Rolfo. Now Leon. Bonmati, nice turn out and pass into Pina. Pina tries to play it forwards. That's cut out well by Emily Fox. Tries to play it out. That is not the smartest decision in there. They've done really well there, though, to win a goal kick.
Yeah, that's quite good from Ford. She tried to shield it out for a throw, and in the end, ended up winning a goal kick.
Realised it wasn't going to happen, and then just got in the way.
And then Rolfo. Yeah, really good defending that. Again, talk about discipline.
This was the offside call. It's closer than it looked, to be fair, on the broadcast, but it's still very considerable.
Yeah, about half. It's really clumsy from Paredes.
Oh yeah,
really clumsy to score that own goal, but bailed out there a little bit by the fact that Marnham had gone too early. But that's why we have VAR nowadays. I do like moments like that where that's a good advert.
Ball lifted in behind. Chance now for Barcelona. Arsenal caught out, and that is dealt well with by the Arsenal backline to stop that cross. Out now for a Barcelona corner. But too easy. Way too easy.
I mean, I'm absolutely stunned the flag hasn't gone up. Because Rolfo looked to be miles offside. But perhaps not. Really good defending from Ford and a big but that's what you got to do. Celebrate those challenges.
Yeah, of course we're not going to see a replay if she was offside.
No, I thought she looked comfortably off.
Ball in towards the near post. Catley clears it away, only as far as Aitana Bonmati. Now Leon. Swung into the box, and that's headed away.
First contact's going to Arsenal. On those contested headers, on those balls into the box, it's Arsenal making that first contact.
Hansen lifts it in towards the back post, punched away now by Van Domselaar, and Arsenal will look to counter. Fox trying to go around Pina, brilliant from Emily Fox, poked through the legs of Fridolin Rolpo, and that is a blatant foul again from Paredes this time. From Leon this time on Marnham.
Yeah, well controlled at the moment from the referee, giving the free kicks, not bringing out the cards. So you don't want to.
When though a Barcelona centre back's going to get yellow?
That is true, but that's Leon's first. Paredes has made 2. Now you want to keep it managed though, because as soon as you bring out one, I mean, it does feel like it could be one of those games where we see none in the first half and then get 6 or 7 in the second.
It's typical officiating for a final, and then as soon as McCabe breathes down the neck of Caroline Graham-Hansen, that'll be a yellow card.
Yeah, all these fouls for Barcelona, yet McCabe will still be the one that ends up on a yellow first.
Indeed. Ball in behind. Chance now for Payor. She's in. Van Domselaar has to drop back. Payor, brilliant from Williamson. Stands her up well, wins the ball back. Important tackle from Leah Williamson. And that's it. It's brilliant decision making. I think if Van Domselaar evidently wasn't ready to come out for that, dropped back onto her line, and Williamson dealt with it well. Yeah,
really good defending. Again, another one where I was somewhat surprised. It felt like one of those where you expected to see Van Domselaar be running out to deal with that, but
smash it out.
But backed Williamson to get back in there
But the important thing is they're all working together. There's clear communication there where Van Domselaar trusts in Williamson to win that ball.
As long as Williamson knows that Van Domselaar isn't coming, then it's absolutely fine. No problem with it whatsoever. Unless obviously unless it's 1-on-1, then of course it's a massive problem. But Williamson was always going to be able to challenge. It was really good defending. Didn't panic. Didn't dive in and made a good interception to deny Payot. But Arsenal really good across the board.
Gallardo back now to Catalina Cole. And now Paredes. And across into Leon. Drills a pass out to this right-hand side, looking for Caroline Graham-Hansen. Wants to get a shot away here. Hansen still taking on Arsenal players, breaking into the penalty area. Caldente will clear it away. Now she'll look to chase it. Leon lifts it up the line. Now Puteas. And Little will see her out well, and it's blocked well there by McCabe. It will take a moment after blocking that ball.
Yeah, well managed again by Arsenal. Little just deals well with Puteas, forces her into a tight space, and the ball in was blocked well by McCabe. Straight in the face, and we'll just take a moment. But I don't think that hurts Arsenal at all. Just a mini stoppage.
A breather, yeah.
Yeah. Barcelona are just starting to get on the ball a little bit more and are definitely warming into this game now. And yeah, this is now their third or fourth corner of the match. Now wanting to try and put some more pressure on this Arsenal penalty area. Say that have gone short.
Swung into the box, and that's just about dealt with by Van Domselaar. Nervy one again. Now Battier. Paredes. A pass inside. Caroline Graham-Hansen strikes it, blocked by Kelly, cleared away now. All the way to Barcelona's goalkeeper, Cole.
Yeah, felt like Kelly could just take the moment there and realise she could have played it short of somebody. But, again, not wanting to take a risk, just gets it gone, don't mind that.
But Arsenal won't mind not having the ball in that position.
That is true.
Because now Barcelona have got to break them down. Now they've settled into their shape. But they've been played through really nicely. Puteas breaking into the box. That's blocked well by Williamson. And now Little under pressure from Pina. Clears it into her. And wins her team a goal kick. Really good from Kim Little.
Yeah, like that. And again, that was a good recovery from Arsenal. They lost the ball. Thought Fox got the wrong side of Pina, but well dealt with by Williamson. And another goal kick now where they can get the ball down and just play their stuff. But a very competitive first 40 minutes or so. And I think that Barcelona and Romeu have got a lot to think about in that half-time break.
Williamson finds Ford. Cut out well. Now Payor trying to get that ball down. Van Domselaar. Williamson plays a forward pass now into Friedemann Arnhem. Back to Leo Williamson. Now lifting it into the run of Rousseau. Dealt well with by Mape Leon. And now Barcelona sets it on the ball. Cole. Leon. Looking for options ahead. Gallardo. Leon. Pass out wide. Rolfo just about gets there. And Kelly now will look to stand her up. Rolfo does well to beat her. Drilled into the box. Cleared away by Williamson. Now Putellas. Pina makes a great run into the box. Chance now for Claudia Pina. Great block in there from Fox. Williamson now looking to get the ball out. And drills it out into Kelly. Who needs an option here. Trying to win herself a throw and has done so well.
Good stuff from Kelly. Really good interception as well from Fox earlier on to deny Pina, who just found herself in a pocket of space in the Arsenal penalty area. It's the first time a Barcelona player has really picked up the ball in Arsenal's 18-yard box, but Fox closed that space down quickly and managed to get a touch on the ball before Pina could unleash an effort. And Arsenal will rely on that at times today. Those last-ditch blocks, those big important tackles to deny Barcelona. Oh, that was a late one. Late one from Friedemann.
Advantage played. Ball now looking for the run of Pina. Dealt well with by Fox. Now Arsenal have possession. Fox launches it forward, looking for the run of Rousseau. Paredes heading it down to Leon, and Barcelona can settle into possession once again.
Really like the fact the ref is keen to play the advantage, does not want to stop this game, because again there's a foul. Yes, it's a foul, and Barcelona want the free kick, but the ref's like, no, you've got the ball, let's keep playing. Let's keep this game moving. And I really like that.
Yeah, ball in. Hansen has a header, it's blocked by McCabe. Hansen's claiming handball, nobody else though. With the same protests, Caldente playing that ball in behind. Russo hard pressed to get there. Paredes will get it back to a goalkeeper with ease.
Yeah, McCabe looks to keep everything tucked in there, but it can be difficult when you are jumping for the ball. But I don't think there's anything in it. I think Graham Hansen.
I think more Barca players would have been in hysterics if that had been the hand of McCabe. Ball in behind. Blocked there by Catley. Now Little. Fox. Williamson.
Tell you what, I feel like this first half has flown by. 42 minutes through already in the Champions League final.
Yeah, as you say, almost at that half-time break.
Game's been played at a good pace.
Yeah.
Two sides that want to get the ball down, want to keep the ball moving.
Fox. Little. Now Catley. Caldente trying to make the run off the shoulder there. One high up the pitch by Barcelona. One back in there by Williamson. Caldente. And she loses it high up the field again. Brilliant intervention there from Leo Williamson.
Got away with one there, Mariana Caldente. Just got caught on the ball, but Williamson bailed her out.
Here's Fox.
But Arsenal, on the most part, moving the ball nicely. Being positive with it. I think that's the first time Canada's been caught on the ball in this half.
McKay playing it down the line. Chance now for Caitlin Ford. Here come Arsenal. And she does really well there. She lets Battier come and clear the ball. And somehow that's been given as a goal kick.
Well, let's see this one back. Tackle goes in.
That should be a corner.
That's really difficult. It looks like it's both of them at the same time, but I think with the way that Battier's gone in, but also look at the direction the ball's gone off in. That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Well, Hansen's there not claiming the one on Ford, which is nowhere near her arm anyway. It hits her chest.
Yeah.
But it hits the arse of McCabe, and that's nowhere near her hand.
No. Oh,
really
brilliant.
good from Ford. Really good. Anticipation wins it back. Caldente finds what tries to break it through to Russo. Couldn't quite manage it. Russo to Caldente again. Pokes it wide now into Caitlin Ford. Chance again for Arsenal. Ball in towards the back post. Barca leave it. And that was an opportunity again for Arsenal. Just the wrong way from Caldente. And Arsenal with a big chance that goes begging.
Yeah, Calente's first touch here lets her down completely, and she was fought. And then it was a really good situation. It should have gone right, as you say. And she says she went to the left-hand side, but Arsenal winning it hard at the pitch for a really good piece of pressing from Ford and not taking advantage. Another one from Arsenal. They should have made more of that. It didn't even get a shot from it. Should have made more come from that opportunity.
David says they're not bringing Russo into the game. It's quite difficult to be fair. Whenever she gets anywhere near the ball, she just gets smashed into by Paredes.
It's a tighter game there where if Arsenal put it in the right place, Russo will pop up and be there. And I think that's the kind of role she's playing today, is on the shoulder. When that ball goes in behind, she's running onto it. If they put it in the box, she's the one they're aiming for.
She's also more of a decoy, and she'll drag players with her. Paredes is following her everywhere she goes. So if she makes that run, she'll drag Paredes, open up the space then for someone like Amano if they're running onto it. Minute left of additional time in this first half then. And Barcelona looking to try and get a goal against the run of play. Hansen up against McCabe. Looks to take her on. Ball in towards the back post. Overhit though from Hansen. And Fox will try and get the head of Pina. Does really well there, Emily Fox. She's done really well against Pina, Fox.
Yeah.
Every time today. Ball swung into the box and Van Donkselaar with a good call and claim.
Yeah, much better from Van Donkselaar. And a few shaky ones, a few moments where she's patted it down or she's had to punch it away and miscued it. But that was really good. Assertive, you can see a clear shout for it and comes and
you
gets
see Catley leave it when normally you'd expect that to flick that away.
Really good goalkeeper.
Should have been just into more danger. Williamson. And they're going to go for one last hoof up the pitch. Ball into the channels. Russo will give chase. And fights Leon for it and does really well there to force a Barca throw. But that will be half time here in Lisbon. Arsenal 0, Barcelona 0. Join us now for 15 minutes of breakdown of that first half. But Arsenal, the team in the ascendancy after 45 minutes. They've played the better stuff. Barcelona, they look tired. Arsenal look up for it. Barcelona look tired. It's been a very interesting game in that regard. I'm going to leave you, Harry, to give your initial thoughts on that first half. And I'll grab some more drinks and then we will talk tactics. But Harry, what did you think of the first?
Yeah, really, really good. First 45 minutes. I think that it. Want to see? There you go. What exactly what you want to see from a Champions League final? It was a game that was played at a really, really good pace. I think that Arsenal did very well when they came out. They were very assertive. They put Barcelona under pressure early doors and did very, very well to. We've seen too many times this season the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Wolfsburg. They were too afraid of Barcelona. They came out and they didn't give enough of a challenge. They, as we said, they were too nice. They were too nice to Barcelona, and it was really important for Arsenal to come out today and play with that courage, play with that belief that they can come out and win this game. And that's exactly what they've done. And I think that if from an Arsenal point of view, Phil, there's an Arsenal fan saying really good half, and it has been a really good half for Arsenal. I think that again we have to be really positive towards them. We have to give them credit, and as Lucky says, they've been tactically got it spot on. My one big problem for Arsenal is they haven't taken advantage of while they've been on top, and that would be my. And again, I don't want to criticise Arsenal because I think they've been brilliant in that first 45 minutes. But the one problem is that on the scoreboard they've got nothing to show for it. And yes, they obviously did have the ball in the back of the net. Paredes scoring an own goal from Marnham's cross, but Marnham was deemed to be offside when she made the run, which was a disappointment for Arsenal. But the problem is when you are the better, I think it is fair to say, they've been the better side in that first half. When you're the better side against Barcelona, you have to take advantage. So the fact this game is 0-0, I think Barcelona, yes, they'll be frustrated about how the game is playing, but the fact that it's still 0-0 credits Barcelona more than it does Arsenal, because Arsenal deserve to be leading this football match. They've looked really dangerous. They've had some great opportunities. They've caused Barcelona a lot of problems. I think that when they've turned the ball over in the offensive third so many times, and they probably should have caused more issues. Only one shot on target in that first half, but they had more chances. They could have done a lot more with that. But really positive from Arsenal. They're causing issues. They're getting in behind. They're taking on Barcelona. They're taking the challenge to them. And it's something Chelsea didn't do. Wolfsburg didn't do it. Man City did it for only one of their 2 games. But Arsenal tonight are being fearless against this Barcelona side. And they're making it difficult for the reigning champions to really have an effect. To speak on Barcelona, I think that it was a half where Arsenal were the better side. Yes, doesn't mean Barcelona were bad. They were slow to get going, I think. Then they definitely grew into the game as it went on, and Barcelona did, last 10-15 minutes, they did come forward with a little bit more pressure. And I think that Arsenal got to be careful. But on the whole, Barcelona really went at the races. As people saying, it looks very lethargic. It looks really relaxed. And I don't necessarily think that's a fact of, they're tired or they're not up for it. It's the problem is they think they're going to win the game, and it's a criticism I have of all the top sides at times, and we've seen it with when you win so often, when you win trophy upon trophy, when you go on these incredible unbeaten runs, big sides do underestimate their opposition, and I think that Arsenal have come out today and they've surprised Barcelona. I bet that Barcelona, also they wouldn't admit this and they wouldn't have said it, but mentally in their heads, I think that Barcelona would have thought, we'll be 2-0 up by half time and we'll win this Champions League final. But Arsenal have made it much more difficult than that. And credit to Slagers, credit to Arsenal for just frustrating Barcelona and making it difficult for the holders to have an impact on this football match, which I think is really key. Because if Arsenal can keep limiting Barcelona to not having as many opportunities or not being on the ball as much as they want to, then this game will really start to come into Arsenal's hands. And with 45 minutes to play, if the scoreline stay the same, suddenly we're going to extra time, and that's a situation that I think before kickoff Arsenal would have been happy to be in. But the onus is now on Barcelona to come out in the second half and show their quality, show why they're the reigning champions, show why they're looking to win their 4th title, and put this Arsenal side to bed. It's going to be difficult though, because the Gunners have been superb so far, and in the first 45 minutes they put up a really, really good fight, and that's what I was most impressed with by Arsenal. That assertiveness, that determination, that desire to win the ball and turn it over and to cause Barcelona some issues.
Yeah, I think it's been a really interesting game where Arsenal have looked the better side for 2 reasons. One, Arsenal played incredibly well, but also Barcelona haven't. But I think this has probably been the worst I've seen of Barcelona in a good, ever. But in a very long time. I think we're seeing similarities between this and the final they lost to Lyon in 2022, where actually they have had a lot of the ball, but they're being frustrated by a side who've been incredibly defensively disciplined, who've done really well not to shy away from a physical challenge, who stood up their players well, they've been everywhere, Arsenal. It's been a high intensity, high energy, high effort performance, and that's why they find themselves level at half time, and deservedly so. They've been brilliant so far, Arsenal.
Yeah.
And they warrant this 0-0, which it feels like an advantage. It feels like Arsenal are 1-0 up because of the strength of Barcelona. Just being 0-0, you've done well in that first 45.
Yeah.
I think the frustration comes is that Arsenal haven't capitalised on that. They haven't then got that goal.
Exactly what I said a moment ago.
So what did I drink?
It can come back there we go. It's been so positive, but I think that they haven't got anything to show for it, and that could really hurt them if they don't find a goal and Barcelona do end up coming back into this game and winning it and scoring first, because Arsenal, they've played like they're leading the match. The way the game has panned out, it feels like they're winning the game, but it is still level. And all it takes is one Barcelona opportunity, and suddenly they're 1-0 up, and they're the Champions League winners. So Arsenal just got to be careful that they're playing well, but don't get comfortable, and make sure you capitalise while you're still playing at your best.
Yeah, I think the biggest compliment you can give is that Barcelona aren't a bad team. Arsenal have made them look like they are.
Yeah.
I think both wingers so far have looked really ineffective and slow. And they're not bad players, but McCabe stood Hansen up really well, and they've just not given them any time and space, and Pina's been marked completely out of the game by Emily Fox. So, yeah, they've just given them no space, and these are Barcelona players who are used to having the freedom of that right-hand side, the freedom of the left-hand side to work with, and they haven't had that. And so it's going to be interesting to see what Barcelona look to change in the second half, because they've got to change something, it feels. Whether that's personnel-wise, to bring on someone with a bit more energy, someone like Paraluelo, a bit more directness, possibly. But they've got to change something. I think that they've got to bring in someone who will, or they've got to change something tactically. But that's a bit more difficult because Barca don't like. There's one way to play at Barcelona. It's the possession-based style. Arsenal set up really well to make that difficult. I think Barcelona can probably still play the way they are and win this game because of the quality in this side. But they've got lucky that Arsenal haven't taken their chances.
Yeah, and I think that it's something that could really benefit Barcelona. You mentioned making changes there. Is when you look at the benches, when you look at the quality and depth that Barcelona have, it's one of those where this game is still 0-0, or if Arsenal do get a goal and go 1-0 up, Barcelona suddenly turn to a bench where they look at the likes of Paraluelo and Vicky Lopez and Scherten Leib, and suddenly they've completely changed the game. So, and to counter that, yes, Arsenal have got. You've got Palov you can bring on, and you've got Mead and Blacksenius, but I don't look at them and go, they're all going to change the game. I just... That's the problem. I think Blacksenius does come on and help, and Mead potentially, but especially in the form those kind of players are in, I don't really see them kind of getting on here and making a difference. They're more the kind of players. I think Blacksenius is a brilliant player to bring on if you are trading in if they are 1-0 up. Bring someone on who's going to bring energy and who's going to stretch that back line, because you're just going to keep holding that ball up and causing issues. But I think Arsenal are set up nicely with the players they've got on the bench as well. If they get a goal, they're in a great position to hold on.
Yeah.
But they need to get that first goal. So one thing they haven't got so far is that they haven't got that first goal.
And that is the big problem. I think if Arsenal 1-0 right now, it's a very different prospect of the second half. But I think the fact they are 0-0 could be to their advantage. We've seen teams when they go 1-0 up against a stronger opposition, there's a reason people, the cliche of it's the most, 2-0 is the most thing we got scoreline in football, isn't it? But 1-0 I think it is actually the most vulnerable scoreline in football, because that complacency does set in a bit. And I think Arsenal would go the other way actually and be too defensive. And invite Barcelona onto them. By being 0-0, they've still got to go and get a goal, so I think they'll still play the way they did in the first half, and that was incredibly beneficial. Well, it's brilliant to see. If anyone was happy, reminder from Riley not to be, with constant negativity in the chat. Good to see you, Riley. Bernie says, I'd argue Arsenal have the better game changers. Really? Who?
I have to disagree.
I think if this was Beth Mead 3 years ago, maybe, but it's an ageing Beth Mead, an ageing Stina Blackstenius. They're not players who come on and make this game completely different. Whereas Barcelona players like Samuel Paraluelo, who's a completely different player to Pina, so you get something different there. I just don't think Arsenal have anyone on the bench who makes this a different game.
Yeah, I think they've got players that can come on and consolidate and can help just tactically.
They've got legs,
exactly.
if they're winning, but they don't have players that can come on and win this game for them.
And I do agree. I think that obviously as much as they'd love to be in a winning position right now. If you're 1-0 at half time, you can get in any cup final or any game, you get to that at half time, you sit down in the changing room, and it does hit you. You go, oh my days, we're 45 minutes away from winning the Champions League, and it can cause you to overthink, and it can go in the wrong direction. It can be a burden sometimes, but I think it's important that Arsenal come out in the second half, start fast and get a goal, because they deserve a goal.
But yeah, I think it makes the halftime team talk easier for Slagers, because you don't have to calm players down. It's very much, we've done incredibly well. Let's keep that up. Let's keep it going. Here's the slight problems we've had. I think that they have been a little bit too. There's been a few times where they've allowed Barca players too much time on the edge of the box. So I think they need to get in there. I don't know what that. I was going to say it's in Bilbao. It's not. That was not this game.
No.
Bilbao fans very lost. Hopefully he will find home soon. But the Barcelona fans enjoying the game. But there have been problems for Arsenal. You know, they did allow Bonmati, I think, to dart through a bit too easy. I think they did well actually to prevent her when they did, and force her to take a shot quite early. And that's why they didn't concede there. There's a half and half shirt in the crowd, so they should be forcibly removed.
That should get you back. That should be a football banning order.
A football banning order.
To turn out a Champions League final with half an Arsenal shirt and half a Barcelona shirt is criminal, especially because they've had that made just for this game.
Unbelievable.
But alas, I think as you say, it is important for Arsenal to not get comfortable and to not rest on their laurels, because all it takes is Bonmati to get half a yard of space, 20 yards out, and suddenly you're 1-0 down.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. That is the threat that Barcelona carry, is that if you give one of their exceptional players something to work with, they will take it and they will punish you. And Arsenal have got to be careful of that. But I think that the fans, big support for the Gunners, travelled out to Lisbon as expected. They'll be very happy with what they've seen so far, and they'll just be hoping their side can find a goal in the second 45 minutes. And if they go ahead, massive moment for Arsenal, because even though they go on to win the game, to say that they led in a Champions League final against Barcelona is a position no other club bar Lyon can have been in before.
That is true. I'm trying to think back to the Wolfsburg-Barca game. If Wolfsburg scored first, but I don't think they did.
No.
But yeah, I think Barcelona look vulnerable. That's the biggest compliment we can give Arsenal is that they've made a team who are usually incredibly comfortable look uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So in that regard, they've done incredibly well. And I think even now, I mean, there's no way this result is 5-0, but if the second half was to go in Barcelona's favour, I think Arsenal are still giving a very good account of themselves. Obviously, it depends on how the second half goes. They scored 3 own goals. That's going to change. But
yeah, that might be a bit disappointing.
Barring something crazy, they've done incredibly well so far.
Arsenal are winning the mental side of the game, the off the pitch stuff, the antics, the determination, and that is meaning that they're on top in the game, and they've got to keep doing that. If they can remain on top, if they keep themselves, keep getting into Barcelona's faces, keep that pressure on, keep that desire up for Arsenal, they can really look to cause some problems into the second half and keep that pressure on. The thing for Arsenal now is do not let that standard slip, and as they come out for the second half, got to keep that pressure on to Arsenal, to Barcelona, and got to keep causing the problems. Yeah. Do not drop that level, and if they don't, maybe they're 45 minutes away from being European champions. Yeah, we haven't really spoken about changes. I don't think there are any. If I was Perry Romeo, Esme Broder's got to be on that pitch for me. Freddie and Robbo's not done enough. No. I think if you're looking at one player you can change that brings you a bit more attacking threat down that left-hand side, bring on Brooks. She'll overlap more consistently than we've seen Rolfo do. And they've Rolfo's done well defensively, but she's not really that's not really come down that side loads. No. And when it has, actually, she's not dealt with it incredibly well. So I don't think it's a huge loss to bring Brooks in there. That would be my change to go a bit more offensive and look to put pressure on Arsenal that way. But yeah. Alex says, at TWFC, explain to me the Kafaji downfall. Similar to a lot of players under Slagers, really. She's picked 11 she likes and hasn't really rotated loads. Yeah. There's a couple others, like Cooney Cross, who's not involved in the starting 11 here. But, mainly it's been this 11 players with a few rotating in. What she's got to do this summer, and this is a consequence of her not having a team that's hers, is this summer now will be about building her squad. Yeah, so 100%. Where do they improve? Where do they have players that she'd be comfortable rotating in? Because clearly she doesn't rate the other players. That she's not used much. Kafaji is obviously out. She's out for this one, but this is the only one she's been out for. To be honest, Arsenal have been in a really nice position that Kafaji is the only player that was not fit to obviously travel, is part of the playing squad. I'm sure she's gone. She's not sat at home. I saw her coming out the tunnel with Katie Reid. Who's also not involved, I think, in the matchday squad. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I think Kafaji, she's got to work hard to get herself back in it. We're underway for the second half. We are indeed. Arsenal 0, Barcelona 0. An incredibly good position for the Gunners to be in. Can they do another 45 minutes? Could they find a goal in this game? They've taken Barca. They've given Barca a very good game so far. Can they keep that up? Well, it's the ball forward. Looking now for the run of Caitlin Ford, but it's an overhit pass that will run through into the hands of
Catalina Cole.
Yeah, start a second half again. It's similar to the start of the game where both sides just, as a team, you look to settle in, you look to start fast, keep that intensity up, and look to pick up where you left off. Well, if you're Arsenal, you want to pick up where you left off in the first half. If you're Barcelona, you want to play a lot better than you did in that first 45 minutes.
Leon lifting it forwards. Here's Bonmati, who makes a nice run off the shoulder of Caldente. Now it's out to the right-hand side. Hansen swings a ball in there, and Fox will look to deal with it. Knocks it out of play. Barcelona corner.
Yeah, like that from Fox, not taking any risks. You could try to see it out, could try to do something clever or audacious there, just dealing with the ball and putting out for a corner, which Barcelona will hope to try and get something from.
Yeah.
As they load players in to the penalty area. They've had quite a few. This is the fifth corner of the game now, Barcelona. Haven't really managed to do anything from any of them so far. And again, they do go short.
Fifth corner, exactly. I don't know if you've been keeping count, Eric.
Yeah.
Here's Pina, takes aim from range, but it's a tame effort, and Van Domselaar shuffles across well to claim it.
Yeah. I have to say, no discredit to Manuel Zinsberger, but Van Domselaar back in goal for Arsenal today is a massive bonus.
Yeah, well, for many reasons. Not only for the fact she's a much better shot stopper, but also the fact that she's much more comfortable with the ball at her feet, as proven there, very comfortably, under pressure from Payol, plays it out.
Even if it's not a comfortable watch for Arsenal fans. I think you want to have a goalkeeper.
Even if Don Robbie has just shot himself, that was a great bit of goalkeeper.
Yeah. That's what you want to see. You want to have a goalkeeper that is confident in herself to play on the ball and let strikers run at her.
Williamson back now to Van Domselaar. Williamson wants to play a pass forwards, and that's well picked off in there by Patrick Gallardo, given as a foul, and she falls to her knees and begs for forgiveness. She's frustrated that one's been given.
Rightfully so. I think that Russo's gotten away with one there.
Yeah, I don't think there's much wrong with it. There is a bit of contact with the player. Ford cuts inside, shots blocked well by Paredes, falls again to Ford. But her touch escapes her and Battier wins it back.
The touch is brilliant. She just didn't realise where she touched it to. The touch was exactly what she needed to do with it. Just set it right in front of herself to shoot. But the problem is, she spun around wondering where the ball had gone. But again, really sharp from Ford. Being direct, cutting in, and it was a really good block from Paredes.
It says, can't decide between Tyler Joyce and Van Domselaar, but Hannah Hampton's behind him. I disagree. I'd go Van Domselaar, Hampton, and Tyler Joyce.
I think all three of them sit in a really nice bubble.
I don't.
No?
I don't think Tyler Joyce is near that conversation. Yeah. One season where she's done well in front of behind a very good backline, compared to two goalkeepers who I think have proven it for their countries, proven it on various different stages off the bottom for Barcelona. Chance now for Hansen, for Bonmati, a flick towards goal. It's in the gloves of Van Domselaar.
Looked like it was just going to fell over.
Moment there. Yeah. It just dipped suddenly from Pina's effort.
Van Domselaar wasn't worried by it at all. Everyone, including Pina, thought this was just going to... It looked like it was going to sail over.
It just came off of Fox. Yeah, it just didn't have any... It didn't have... The shot didn't have any lift in it, so it just spins up. So then obviously it comes back down with a lot more trajectory. A lot of a sharper trajectory.
Oh, a bit messy from
Now trying to come forwards. Ford there gets caught by Battier.
Yeah, even.
And that, I was going to say, that she's going to be lucky to avoid a card here. I think it's Paredes again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's, fine. There you go.
Yeah.
And I like that. First cut was just free kicks, no card. Third one, though, and it's not a great one. It's a yellow.
The Barca frustration is evident on their faces.
Yeah.
We saw it going on a minute ago. Seen it there with Paredes. Just real frustration. We're seeing that Pino opportunity again off of the crossbar. And the Barca fans behind the goal can't quite believe it, but she's nowhere near the ball there.
Really good from Ford.
A day late and $1 short, and that is a free kick.
Ford knows that she'll get there first. She knows that tackle's going to come from Paredes, but Ford just thinks, if I get there first, I'm going to win the free kick or put Russo through on goal.
Yeah, she knows there's no one ahead of her, so she's just poking the ball nowhere, but Paredes overcommits and just commits a foul.
And now Arsenal have got a free kick in a good position.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they use this.
I think you're looking at Catley and Williamson at the back of the queue. to head it back across goal. Got to be the plan.
And they just sort of bounce it in front of them, though. That's the question.
Potentially. Ford's come a little bit wider. Unless you fancy a cheeky one to Kelly, who's now walked 4 yards offside, so don't do that.
But that is where the play will end up.
Exactly. That's the
not
plan.
looking to receive it initially.
To get the flick on. McKay's annoyed that... I mean, yeah, that is too close.
Ball put into the box. Ford looking to keep it alive here. Does well to adjust for it.
Oh, brilliant.
Really nice turn from Ford. Unable to play out, though, to a teammate. And does well. Tactical foul there to stop the play. Advancing to stop the transition. And everyone on that Barcelona backline there should be booked. Because they've all called for a yellow card there. You can see it immediately. As soon as that foul goes in, they all call for it.
I'd laugh.
Off you go.
I can't remember her name now. But
Referee.
Yeah. I want to say Ivana Marticic. That might be completely wrong. I know she's Croatian.
Ivana Martincic, yeah?
Oh, there you go. But a good game. That's what you want to see. Really good game.
Bonmati. Well, she's not fallen for everything Barcelona have done, which most refs do. Demetrescu. All forwards.
Or they go the opposite way and just give everything against. Like, again, like, just go, oh, they've touched that, you know.
I've not seen that ever, though.
Yeah, but it's very easy in a big game to but
yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen it against other big clubs.
Yeah.
But it's very not Barcelona.
Really well controlled.
Here is Aitana Bonmati. Options to her left and right. Wants to take on Little. Here's Putellas. Looks to turn and shoot. Brilliant, though, from Ford to stand her up. Battier takes aim, and it's just wide. And they are probing now, Barcelona. This is really good from Ford to stand up Putellas. The ball on the floor was a bit of a flop.
Yeah.
And then Battier got the connection.
I'll tell you what.
It on target.
Yeah, that was close. And Van Donstar, if that was in the bottom corner, Van Donstar wouldn't have got there. Again, you say good from Ford. It was really good. Again, it was a great example of being on the line. There was a little shirt pull, but it wasn't like a pull down. It was just pulling her, just to be a nuisance. And didn't bring her down, didn't foul her. Just let Putellas know that there's someone right behind you, and she did well to block it in the end.
Ball played forward, headed down there for Marnham. And Little robbed in possession by Payor. No one for Arsenal can deal with it, but then it's cleared away by Catley. And Payor looking to get the Barca end going.
Yeah, just got to be careful with Kim Little there. Just got caught flat-footed on the ball.
That's what we expect to see more of in this game. It's the first time it's happened for Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's happened quite a lot for Barcelona getting caught hard at the pitch. First time it's happened to Arsenal, which is we thought we'd see it more with the little Caldente pivot.
The second half so far has been much more even, a bit more open.
Bonmati darts inside, headed away by Catley, now Fridolina Rolfo. And Fox wins it back, and now Arsenal will look to break. Little. Don't know why she's gone backwards there.
No.
Very conservative approach, but don't know why she's gone backwards.
Emily Fox has been superb today. I think Williamson, this has been her best 53 minutes of the season. You know, it's up there with her performance against Germany in the Euros final. Absolutely incredible.
And I think it's probably her best performance since her ACL injury.
Yeah.
I think rightfully criticised this season, even this show has criticised her quite heavily because I don't think her performances have been there this year.
No.
But really impressive performance tonight. She's dealt with Payor effectively. She's read the game really nicely. Her passes in behind have relieved pressure for Arsenal quite effectively as well. Yeah. So, yeah, impressive performance.
I thought she was brilliant against Leon in the second leg as well.
Here's Aitana Bonmati. Puts it into the box, and that's claimed by Van Donstar. Yeah, I didn't watch much of that. It was after the Chelsea game, wasn't it?
So. But Arsenal was superb in that game.
Yeah.
But, excuse me, I think what the big thing is between this semi-final and this final is that in that semi-final, Leon made a catalogue of errors and Arsenal pounced on them. Whereas in this game, it's been Arsenal who have been forcing the errors out of Barcelona.
Yeah.
Or they've just been winning the ball back, playing simple.
Putellas, Rolfo on the overlap. Fox will stand her up well. Now Leon. You wouldn't know that Barcelona were overlapping their fullbacks. because they've been dealt with so well. Because they should be doubling up on both fullbacks with the players they've got, Barca, but they're not. Because Arsenal dealt with it incredibly well. What they're doing really nicely, Little tracking the run of whichever winger comes inside. So based on what side they are, the player then follows that direction.
Eddie Roebuck really wasn't happy with that decision by the referee. But yeah, well stepped in there by Kelly and has won a throw.
What are small decisions to get so animated about?
I know, but that's the position they're in.
There's frustration kicking in. They're not used to losing. This Barcelona team, they're not used to losing. Putellas. Chance now for Pina. Blocked again by Williamson.
That was where they lacked organisation,
Now
Arsenal.
Slides one through. They've opened up Arsenal. Battier cuts it back. Little's on hand to sweep it up. This game's becoming more open.
Yeah.
Now the question is, can Arsenal grip back control or can they use this? Can they lean into this basketball game and get a goal?
It was the problem we said would happen when you don't. Arsenal didn't take advantage while they were on top in that first half, and this second half has now evened out. And now, to be honest, it feels like it's anyone's game. And now the question is, who can pounce now? Who can pounce? And it's Russo looking to pounce as she spins Paredes and looks to get away from
Paredes can't make a tackle now. Yeah. That's the difference. Cuts it back. Marnham.
Oh, I need more pace on it from Russo.
Back to Caldente. Now Little. Mariona Caldente again. Out to this left-hand side. McCabe. Pass inside. Here is Kim Little. Into Williamson. They're very high here, Arsenal. But they're overloading. Now back to Catley. McCabe. Catley again.
Brilliant control.
Yeah, I was going to say, Arsenal have wrestled back that control. Heart of the field here. Williamson. I'm not sure what she's trying to do.
Didn't need to do that. 21 out of 22 players on the pitch were in Barcelona's half there, and Williamson's just decided to go long.
I can't see what you're going to do there with the ball in behind. How are you going to get that to Russo? You're high up the field. You need to then play delicate passes or try and use the wide areas. Really, really good interception there. And Caldente caused problems for Bonmati all evening, or all afternoon. Bonmati again there just gets caught out by Caldente, by someone actually going and pressing her, by making life difficult for her. She's the one that makes things tick for Barcelona. She's not been involved at all today. And the few glimpses Barcelona have come forwards effectively is when Bonmati's got away from Caldente for whatever reason. And again, Caldente there on hand to deal with Bonmati on the edge of the box. Here's Battier. Bonmati again. Battier. Now Aitana Bonmati. Hansen. Nice touch and turn. Putellas. Trying to weave her way through. Needs options here. Bonmati. Flicks it back to Battier. Give and go. Down this right-hand side. Can she deliver the ball here? It's blocked well. And now they'll look to break Arsenal. It's overhit and Caldente can't get there. Here's Paredes. Gallardo. Down the line here into Hansen. Ball into the box. Headed away really well from Fox. From Catley, sorry, and that's out for a corner.
We knew this stage would come. Arsenal just in that management phase. Barcelona the ones on the ball. Barcelona the ones looking to come forwards. For Arsenal, it's just about remaining firm, not doing anything rash, and just riding out this storm. And Barcelona really looking to pile the pressure on. Paraduelo coming on soon. But they're working well, Arsenal. They've got to keep at it. Barcelona, though, doing well to keep this pressure on, and they'll be hoping that they can take advantage while they're on top. Fans winning them on in that corner.
Oh, they're looking to make it work. In this corner, Leon puts it in there. It's then cleared away, and that gives chance for Arsenal to rise this line, bring it up a bit. That's his left-hand side. Brilliant anticipation from Caldente. From McCabe, sorry. Now Caldente. Marnham tries to turn. Paredes does well to step in. Here come Barcelona then. Bonmati with space to run into. Takes aim. Big save. Strong save from Van Domselaar. Seen out for a corner.
Yeah, really good from McCabe. Initially, then she got stuck in her feet, and then it was just too luxury that from Marnham. Too relaxed. Just tries to nicely spin Paredes. Wasn't going to work.
Such a strong left hand. Van Domselaar gets down well.
And again, Bonmati does the right thing, tries to find the bottom corner, but Van Domselaar can match it. And again, quality goalkeepers coming up in the biggest games and providing big stops, and that's what Van Domselaar has done all day. Half an hour to go. Barcelona now really starting to ramp up the pressure onto Arsenal.
Chance now then for Barcelona. A pass short. Leon now. Delivers it to the edge. Battier with time to strike it. Laser strike well. But it's just over the bar. She's hitting them really flat.
Yeah.
Battier, and it's why it's causing problems from range.
It's not a bad idea. No one in an Arsenal shirt got out to her. And
They couldn't.
Yeah.
Because they're putting everyone in the box. That's the problem with being too deep. It will cause issues, and this will be a worrying sign because Arsenal are starting to look leggy, and here comes Salma Paralluelo. And this is why Romelu did it this way round. Rather than Paralluelo to tire them early on and Pina to finish the job, they've tired them out, and now they're bringing on a fast player. Now, I know Paralluelo may not be the best finisher in the world, but she can cause a lot of trouble for Arsenal.
Something different now for Fox to deal with, but Arsenal have got to react to that before it's too late. Go and make your difference. Bring someone on. Just to get some legs in there.
Get that under our control. Here's Bonmati. Lays it to Puteas. Trying to find Paralluelo. Cut out and smash long. Russo. Brilliant hold up from the English forward. Does well to take it past another player. Now to Kelly. And that's cut out too easily from Mbappe Leon. Kelly will bite back at her, and that's a foul.
Don't mind that, to be honest. But yeah.
Showed it down.
All the work from Russo, and it's just too... It's too easy from Kelly.
It's pedestrian from Chloe Kelly.
Yeah.
Got to attack her.
Slows it down, and Leon just pounces. Of course he does. Yeah. And it does look like Arsenal... Yeah, Arsenal are now making their own changes.
Change. Predicting who it will be. Cooney Cross?
Yeah, I think it's got to be legs in that midfield. Or even if you're not going to take one of your two pivot players off, take someone else off, like a Marnham or somebody, and throw three of them in there.
Just put and say higher.
Or yeah, that's the other option actually.
I reckon they'll go Black Stenius though for Marnham and put Russo deeper because that seems like the kind of thing that Vegas will do in this moment.
Yeah.
Here is Salma Paralluelo. Williamson stands her up. Paralluelo back to Rolfo now. Wants to come inside of the pass. Finds Battier, space to shoot, and it's straight down the throat of Van Domselaar. And she does well to then Gavrit Payor, reacting quickly. Arsenal
just got to be careful because Battier is popping up in these areas and spaces around the edge of the area and is getting shots away. And luckily, Van Domselaar has matched all of them so far, but all it takes is one really good effort and suddenly Barcelona are leading. And because of that, the shots have now gone.
Brilliant hold up from Russo. Kelly. What are the shots at, sorry?
5-15. It was 5-2. Arsenal haven't had a shot in the second half.
That's worrying.
They need to get
intriguingly, I think possession's probably gone higher to Arsenal, just based off.
They need to
eye test.
What brilliant.
Forward drives forward, brought down in the box. Not going to be given us anything, but there is a call in there. It's McCabe, sorry. Darted inside.
McCabe's still down.
I mean, VAR is in operation. They will have a look at that, but
I think she gets the ball and follows through, but I don't think the follow through is that. I don't think it's enough for a foul. We'll need to see it back though. Barcelona playing on. And they've got one of their own down as well, by the way, Barcelona.
Fox wins it back. Now they'll look to try and play out. Players hitting the floor all over the place. Strike from range from Hansen. That is a... They're just trying to hit it from anywhere, Barcelona. They are panicking. They're desperate. And I've not seen this from Barca before.
Because that's now...
A side who just who look out of ideas. Completely out of ideas. It's clean enough from Battier, but it's on the line. If McCabe...
I think she gets enough. It doesn't look like
she's lucky that she gets enough.
It doesn't look like she gets the ball because the ball actually goes past her feet and gets trapped in between her legs. But she does get the football.
Booked here, not sure what for.
That was in the advantage. She just took someone out as Barcelona were coming forward. So that was why the Barcelona player was on the deck.
What about the three?
We'll see it back here.
On the deck.
Kelly just for no reason whatsoever, just barges into Putellas
Yeah.
and
that's
brings
the
her
odd
down.
one.
Marnham is the one down as well for Arsenal, so potentially this will be the change. 25 minutes to play. I think this is this is a very important break for Arsenal.
I was going to say.
Because they've been set. To be fair,
Perfectly timed
though,
for
out
a
those
water
50,
break.
because that's on 16 shots to Barcelona, but how many have been on target?
I can have a look.
I know a couple have been saved by Van Dijk.
5.
That's yeah, still decent.
Splitting into second half, 4 on target in the second half, only 1 in the first half.
Barcelona have really stepped it up, and
Arsenal 1 shot,
Yeah.
Barcelona 10 in the second half.
Arsenal are struggling a little bit now.
Yeah.
It's just, can they hold out, or can they get something against the run of play now? And if they're 1-0 up, though, this would be a completely different scenario, and that's why they'll be frustrated that they didn't take a goal or take anything from the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will Arsenal change? Will the Arsenal change come now, or is Marnham continuing on? Few words for Russo from Slagers. McCabe is also down. Just receiving some treatment after that tackle. It weren't a penalty for me. Arsenal double change then.
So that is 12 for 25. Marnham for Blackstones.
Yeah. And then
Predicted that.
Beth Mead's the other one coming on. I predict this to be for Caitlin Ford.
It just feels like the only time Arsenal have had the ball forwards is when they've held it up. It's for Kelly. Makes more sense. Can't take a forward in a game like this. It's been brilliant.
That is true.
And Kelly's now on a card as well, which doesn't help her.
Yeah. Looked like Kelly ran. So they made Kelly run over to someone with something.
Might as well.
And they make it.
Tie her
Yeah,
out.
good point.
She's coming off. So she's going out giving rousing speeches.
Yeah.
And now she's coming off. So yeah, double change. Blackstenius on. And Mead on. Kelly and Marnham making way. Arsenal with 25 minutes to make history here.
Fresh legs. I don't mind that. I think Arsenal just need to bring players on who are just going to offer a little bit more. Just to run a bit, be disciplined, and when they do get the opportunity to come forwards, though, get Blackstenius and Mead on the ball. Does drop Russo deeper, which I think it doesn't help Arsenal defensively. That's my biggest criticism with it, compared to when you got Marnham on there.
Yeah, I think it also... The only time they've come forward is when we've seen Russo hold it up, and Blackstenius isn't going to do that.
That is, yeah, it's also true.
I just don't think they're going to get that ball in behind to Blackstenius. I'd have rather have seen a Cooney cross and then Mariona into the pivot, but or into the 10, sorry. Or a Palova, of course, as well. Could have gone into the 10. So I think there are better changes they could have made.
But again, it's what...
You've now got Russo defending back here, but it's not what you need.
No, it's what Slagers knows. Again, they're doing what's tried and tested, but...
But I think we've seen that loads, and it's not worked.
No.
Here is Bonmati. They've lost a player to hold the ball up now.
Yeah.
Putellas. Rolfo delivers it in there. Shot, so Barca goes begging. Corner ball.
What a tackle
Huge
from...
Is it Catley or... Yeah.
think it was Catley.
Yeah, because Williamson steps up.
Absolutely brilliant tackle.
That is phenomenal.
Superb. But as you say, I think they've changed the weekend Arsenal, and it's okay to make that change and play Blackstenius and Russo together, but that works when you're playing Leicester and you just want to give Blackstenius minutes. Champions League final, though, I think that could be a costly change. We'll have to wait and see. Like, what a tackle from Catley.
Lays it short. Lay on. Bonmati. Driving inside into the penalty area now. Paraduelo. Held up for a moment. Hansen, effort blocked. And now it's Onabatier.
Yeah, mentality completely shifted from Arsenal, by the way. They're choosing to keep the line where it was rather than bring themselves up. Really interesting. I think they realise the situation they're in now, and they're just going to try and see this out for 20 minutes and try and hit Arsenal on the counter. Let's hit Barcelona on the counter.
Hit themselves.
Breaking away. Yeah, really, this is where, though, experience and quality can shine through in a Champions League final.
Paraduelo. Now Hansen. And that's blocked now for a Barcelona throw.
It's a situation in Barcelona never been in before. They've always been leading. I think you feel at this point in the finals pretty comfortably over the last couple of years as well. So the fact it's still level, the fact no one scored, is something we haven't seen for a while.
Indeed. Barca trying to come forwards now. Cuts out well by Arsenal. Here's Hansen, though. And again, Caldente in the way of it. The ball will be sent forward, and something for Blackstenius to chase now. This is where she can be harmful. Paredes does really well just to get on top of that ball.
Win a free kick. But yeah, that's exactly what you say. Rather than holding... Now Arsenal... It feels like Arsenal there realise what they've got now. Don't worry about trying to get the ball to hold up. Just go long, and if Blackstenius gets there first, then she's going to cause Arsenal issues. Barcelona issues. Oh, my days. Arsenal just going to keep causing themselves issues. Big tackle from Russo.
Puteas. Gallardo. Here's Puteas.
Game management is critical now for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a poor pass. Has Blackstenius got there? Yes, she has.
And now here come Arsenal. Blackstenius, 1-on-1 with the defender. Takes her on, takes aim, it's blocked! What a save from Catalina Cole.
Wow. Huge shot from Cole.
Now Puteas. Eva Payor plays out to the right-hand side, and as this game becomes more transitional, does it go in Barcelona's favour? Payor, Hansen, Bonmati, back now to Hansen. Puteas.
Little dink, gets there. Oh, it's just over. Massive opportunity for Payor. Beats Catley to it. Lovely little dink from Puteas. But this was the moment for Blackstenius. Beats Leon to it, who does drag her initially, but lets her go. Good defending from Paredes.
Leon going down there, by the way.
Good shuffle that from...
She falls over there.
That's handball.
It's a handball.
And a pullback.
She goes down as well afterwards. I think she might have hurt herself.
Save that is from Catalina Cole. And then here, Payor.
Payor getting the flick on over, though.
And onside was rooted. Could have gone in. Chances at both ends. This game's come end to end. Champions League finals sparked into life in the final 20 minutes.
Leon seems fine, by the way.
Brilliant football from Arsenal.
Ball up the line, and again, this is where they'll try and become more direct now, and they've forced a corner.
It's really good defending. Really good defending from Paredes to not commit a foul there, but to win the ball. But as you say, Arsenal corner. That direct ball to Blackstenius is working an absolute treat at the moment. And they've got to keep it coming. Get that ball over the top and get Blackstenius running in behind.
They've gone for the game.
Yeah.
It's sacrificed their control, and if they are to concede, that would be a part of the reason. But they're going for the match. They want to win.
Fair enough. Respect it.
17 minutes to play.
Go big or go home for Arsenal.
Oh, yeah. I think they know if they go to extra time, Barca have got the options off the bench to make the difference.
I like it. It's decisive.
Phil says these runs are what we needed first half. This would have killed them first half. Can't play football like this for 45 minutes and expect not to get broken on by Barcelona. I think Slager's made this just change at the right time. If they're going more attacking, it's the right change. Ball into the box. Cleared away just about from Barcelona. Little. Trying to recover it. Caldente wants to take on the opposing player. Recycles to the edge. Here's Mead. Slots it through. Blackstenius into score. It's there. Arsenal lead. They've led already in this game. That one flagged offside. This one won't be. Arsenal 1, Barcelona 0. And it's a key goal and a key moment for Stina Blackstenius. Arsenal rejoice because there's no way that one's offside. Slipped through from Mead. The touch and turn from Stina Blackstenius. And it's Arsenal 1, Barcelona 0.
Difference makers from the bench. Blackstenius with a goal. Mead with the assist. Absolute masterstroke from Slagers.
It's so good. Mariana Caldente finds the one of Mead on the edge of the box here. And she just slides it through excellently.
She's onside.
Blackstenius takes a touch. Barca panic and jump in front of her.
Finish.
And it's such a composed finish. We've seen her miss so many chances this season. But in the big moments, when they need her most, she steps up and scores. And it's Arsenal 1, Barcelona 0.
Stina Blackstenius does it again. She dictated the destination of the UWCL trophy last season, and she may have just picked out the destination of the Champions League trophy this season. A big 15 minutes now for both these sides.
And as Slagers says, focus.
It's Blackstenius' first goal in the Champions League. You could not write it. What a moment. What a moment for Stina Blackstenius and for Arsenal.
Indeed.
15 minutes to go now. Slagers and Arsenal have got it spot on so far in this game.
Here's Hansen. Tries to play it up the line. Cut out by Catley and cleared away.
Again, management now. Everything goes out. Clear out the ground for Arsenal. Backs against the wall. They just need to keep doing what they're doing. And hold on here. Flick that towards Parrot away. Like, I tell you what. Barca now. Big questions of Barcelona now. Because, a side that have been here before, have won this trophy time and time again, have now been put behind, have now been put in a really, really difficult position. And they're going to have to work out how to deal with that. And I think that you ask the questions of sides like Barcelona, and they've got to now look to try and pull this game back. Another corner.
Indeed. Barca now looking to threaten from this set piece. In towards the back post. Header towards goal, and that one, did it go out of play before the contact? Yes, it did. Goal kick for Arsenal. And now the time-wasting antics will come into play. How slow can they make this game?
But be smart about it. Don't be getting Van Donside booked now, because you've got to do another 13 minutes plus additional time with her slowing it down. But do you know what? Renee Slagers, credit to her, because I've criticised her pivot choice, I've criticised her subs choice, and she's got them all right so far. They went for the game, Arsenal, by bringing on Mead and Blacksenius, and they are reaping the rewards so far.
Plays it in behind. Barca will recover.
Such a good finish.
Leon's had a,
And there's also a player.
It's so pedestrian there from Battier. Just doesn't even try and control that football. It runs through the Caldente, and she's knocked out of play there, McCabe, because down on the deck is Caitlin Ford. Leon's coming up as well. So few players starting to feel the effects of what a physical game this has been. She just landed horribly there, Ford. Hopefully it's nothing serious. And she does seem to be down in some discomfort.
Yeah, Leon wants to come off. Ford's down injured. We're going to have a look at this. They're going to show it wasn't offside. Don't know why we're looking at this. Again, it's just messy
by a player.
Yeah, messy by Barcelona.
All
from the
panic and try and jump across goal.
And she does back shows as well. Hits it hard, low, venom behind it. Nothing Kathleen Cole can do it. Yeah.
No, doesn't look up once, look. Doesn't need to. Knows where the goal is. It's really, really good play from Blackstone. It's really good finish. And Arsenal lead in the Champions League final. And Esme Brooks is on for Rolfo. Leon off as well. So, and while Barcelona fans, we'll find out who's going on at centre-back.
Torrejon, surely.
No, more likely to be someone like Jana Fernandez, no?
That is
Engen.
Engen.
Engen. Her last game for Barcelona before she, rumoured to be joining Lyon, could be somewhere else. But Barcelona, while Barcelona fans in the build-up to this were discussing how many goals they were going to get, the comments on our preview video saying it's not a matter of whether we'll score, it's a matter of who's going to score. It's a matter of who's going to get a hat-trick. The Barca players, we sat around having barbecues, was one comment we had. Well, right now,
to be honest,
kicking them in the arse.
Barcelona players have been having, but they look like they're having a barbecue. They look like they're having a kick around in their back garden because Arsenal have turned up to play, and they've got it right. Arsenal, they managed it in the first half. The game then livened up in the second half. It became open, and when it decided who was going to take advantage of that, Arsenal have done it so far.
Yeah.
Long way to go.
Axel, can someone explain when Arsenal gets the UWCL spot for the winner, which team gets their regular spot? No one. So Arsenal would be into qualifying, so there'll just be a qualifying round without them in it. So someone will get a bye somewhere. But it's no different than normal because that would usually be a bye because Barcelona win it and they already have a normal spot. So
yeah,
it does mean that there'll be one less spot up for grabs on qualification. Because
interesting.
Normally we have there's only 4 automatic qualification. No, 5 qualification.
Yeah,
something like that. Can't remember how many. There's a few automatic qualification spots for the winners of WSL, Liga and Division 1 Feminine, Liga F, and I think Frauen Bundesliga.
Arsenal
potentially Serie A.
Game of the way. Wrong choice. Wrong choice from Karen Tay. You're 1-0 up in a Champions League final.
Take it to the corner.
You can take it to the corner. You've got an option 10 yards away from you, and she tries to play a crossfield pass that is way too central and goes to Kathleen Nicole. Wrong decision.
Gives Barca the ball with 10 to play.
Yeah.
England. Paoluelo now. Fox on her back. But Paoluelo wants to run at her. We've not seen Paoluelo, by the way, since she's come off.
No.
Me takes a swing at her.
Christ.
Romeu not happy about that one. The ref letting the
Well, me didn't
go
get
off.
anything.
Yeah, he sort of slid near her.
Yeah.
Hattinson looking to take on McCabe. Into the box. Cleared away by Williamson there.
Brilliant.
He was caught by the rogue challenge there of Bonmati, I believe it was.
Brilliance from Williamson again.
Here is Hansen. Paoluelo.
What
Tries
a
to break the
block.
ball through. It's cut out. Foul there on Blackstenius. Not given. Barca coming forwards now. Bonmati lifting it in the air. Battier puts it up in the air and it's on top of the net.
Exactly what Arsenal want. This is brilliant. They're calling on the experience now and they're working as a team. And it's something we've seen from Arsenal in this whole tournament. And we've seen it in this game, especially working that as a unit.
Yeah.
And now again, so the ball went out on 81 minutes, 10 seconds. And again, we're already, we've had 20 seconds since then.
Deja vu from the FA Cup final when Taylor Swift take 20 minutes to retrieve a
Oh,
football.
what a ball.
Brilliant turn from Caitlin Ford. Drilled straight into her. Ball down the line now. Blackstenius looks to take on Paredes again. One-on-one with her. She just runs straight at her
Didn't
and
make a
loses the
decision.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blackstone's had to go one way or the other.
Leave it as late as possible because it makes it
Yeah.
difficult for Paredes to predict, but she left it a bit too late.
She didn't go anywhere.
Ran straight at her. Paoluelo. Puteas. Tries to poke a ball through to Payor. Does find it now. Bonmati on the edge of the box. Takes aim. It's blocked and that will bounce wide and it's a corner for Barcelona.
Arsenal are getting a body in front of everything at the moment. I'm surprised Barcelona have only made one change. They've got 8 minutes to find a
They've
goal.
made 3.
Have they? Oh, yeah, I mean,
they brought
attack, sorry,
Paoluelo.
offensive changes.
Okay.
I know they went
Well,
Brooks,
Pena's taking a corner, so that's illegal.
but you've got. Would you not go to Shirton like? I guess Shirton or Lopez. You'd probably rather have the experienced players on there like Payor and Graham Hansen. Bonmati corner. Barcelona's 9th of the game. They've gone short with every one, but with Leon not being on the pitch, I think Bonmati is just going to fire this in.
Well, usually Leon lays it short and goes back to Leon who delivers it. Ball into the box, headed away, look to play it, just play it out Arsenal.
Clearly into each other.
Barcelona have the ball on the edge of the box. Swung in there, headed away by McCabe. McCabe, by the way, I'm her harshest critic, but she's been immense today.
Yeah.
Has to be said. I mean, she is now going to give away a penalty now that I've said that. But she's been phenomenal. In fact, also out to claim it well. And that is really confident goalkeeping.
Because although, A, she doesn't know there's not a Barcelona player behind her, but B, it stops her going out for a goal kick. Kicking it from her hands is been much easier than kicking it from a goal kick. So just things like, and it's confidence boosting. Seeing your goal kick claim, you give something to cheer about. This is incredible from Arsenal. 6 minutes to play plus additional. And they've turned it over again.
Plays it in behind. Here comes Blackstenius.
Corner, surely. Stays there, yeah. Smart
Try and
decision.
hold it up now. Can't quite do it. Paredes. Engen. This is where you want Russo back up front.
Yeah.
To hold the ball up.
Poor pass from Engen.
Ford almost picked up on it. Caldente will try and get there. Pokes it to Caitlin Ford. Brilliant from Mariona Caldente. Russo. Back to Ford. They're going for goal here, Arsenal. They've got to just kill the game off.
Russo. Corner.
I mean, if they get a goal, they win the Champions League. Ford into score.
Cut it back.
Got to be a cutback.
Blackstone should be screaming for that.
And now they'll look to break Barcelona. Could they rue that? Bonmati.
Oh, I thought it was a bit more of a counter attack, and then Arsenal had loads of people back. But wow,
Barca went sprinting forwards. Hansen tried to take on McCabe. Really smart. But Hansen's knocked the ball away there and then ran into McCabe. So yeah, people will say that's McCabe's fault. But
the argument will be that
Hansen
would have got there if even McCabe wasn't there. That's the problem. If Hansen keeps it close, I think that's probably a foul. But never mind.
On review, Hertig coming on for Arsenal.
Just legs, height, physicality now.
Nice last appearance, probably for Lena Hertig. I believe her contract's up this summer.
Yes, and they've already said that she will leave. So, yeah, good opportunity for her to get 5 minutes to help her side win the Champions League.
Or if she really hates Arsenal, she can go out with a bang. Just lays one in her own net.
Plays it over the top to pay up. And what felt like a pipe dream is only 5 minutes away from Arsenal.
There's only we would be trying to score more, just keep the ball. Yeah, I know. I don't know what Arsenal were doing there. Just get the ball in the corner. And then we'd be at the 87th minute by now.
5 minutes. This is incredible.
Yeah. Arsenal are currently leading.
They can't win the
Champions League
Champions League.
final.
But Barcelona are Barcelona. And they will certainly they will have more chances. Barcelona will get more chances in the time remaining. It's just whether they go in or whether Arsenal can remain defiant.
Brooks. Into Puteas. Now here's Payor. Nice hold up. Ball into the box. That's headed away.
Arsenal are doing enough. Another minute gone. With the subs and stuff and the time wasting going on, you're expecting a bit of additional time.
Bonmati.
Tidy.
Hansen now. And that's blocked well by Steph Catley.
Steph Catley, absolutely brilliant. Does well there, doesn't commit, doesn't dive in. Just stands Hansen up and blocks the cross. Another Barcelona corner. But again, by the time they've got this corner into the box, that's another minute gone. Barcelona throwing everyone forwards.
Ball into the box. Headed away. Now Engen. Into Battier.
Great closing that from Latsenius to stop Bonmati, getting it back in and immediately.
Battier. Towards the back post. And now they'll look to break. Arsenal claim a foul in there, but Caldense is just going to carry this ball forwards. Brooks tries to foul her. It's a really good tackle, actually. Now Paraluelo.
Oh, it's loose from Arsenal.
Puteas foul in there.
I think it's unfortunate. It is a foul. It's unfortunate for Puteas. She just puts her arm out to try and shrug Russo off, but Beth Mead off, and just it's
Headbutts her.
Yeah.
Shoulder.
Yeah. And it's shown a yellow card for it. I don't think she meant to do it, really. I think she tried to nudge her off, but obviously she is taller, so her shoulder ends up going into... But it is a foul. And again, that's another minute gone for Arsenal. Counting down the seconds, the Gunners. Arsenal fans must be... I can't imagine what they're feeling right now. And
a yellow card to someone on the Barcelona bench for their complaints.
Yeah, fair enough. Beth Mead's still down with the nosebleed, I think. But yeah, really well managed by Arsenal. Again, another stoppage here, so I think we're definitely looking at 4 or 5 minutes being added on. Especially depending on how long Beth Mead is going to receive treatment for.
I just Phil, imagine Chelsea fans cheering for their local rivals. This is a game really for Chelsea fans of who do you hate more. But yeah.
From
a lose-lose or a win-win, depending on how you look at it. Either one of these teams has to win, but also one of these teams has to lose.
Yeah.
So
from a place of, if you look at it from a neutral point of view, it's about seeing
someone other than Barcelona
an upset. You always want to see an upset in football.
Yeah, and hopefully this will be a Manchester United-esque decline.
Yeah. Completely fall off.
Just
is Ryan who gone after this match. Incredible scenes. Well, Mead's back to her feet. She will go off because she did receive treatment. But I think we're still looking at 5-6 additional minutes. We'll find out.
2-3 here, aren't there?
With Moy coming on as well for Arsenal. Throwing another player at it. Not yet though, because we're playing.
Laporta's slipped. You wait for a tenner.
Another great
ball in
ball.
behind. Blash is in. Chance for Arsenal, and she spooned it wide. That should be 2-0 after the game done.
Right idea, but just wrong execution. Tries to lift it over Catalina Cole and just gets it all wrong.
No, I thought you meant right idea if the wrong execution of the move. Fantastic move.
Yeah, brilliant.
Finish just lacking it. We will get information on additional time in a moment. Obviously, the broadcast would have been told a time that will be revised now because Beth Mead's injury.
Williamson, first contact again.
Mead brought down there by Brooks. Arsenal foul. 7 minutes of additional time. And we're already 30 seconds of the way through it. Arsenal are 6.5 minutes. And there's another yellow card for someone on the Barcelona bench.
I think that's a play because the Barcelona bench is the other way.
Oh.
Is it for Brooks for the foul? I wonder.
Might have been an Arsenal complaint.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, I'm guessing it's that geezer right there. Who stood right next to the fourth official shouting in her face.
We'll find out in a second whether Brooks has been brandished yellow card. It's not.
With Moyes coming on. The only ever English European champions. Haven't had their name on the trophy for nearly 2 decades, Arsenal. But now they're 6 minutes away. With Moyes coming on for Alessia Russo. Arsenal going to a back 5. They are going to put 11 players behind this football.
Can't help but find this quite amusing. Someone who completely disagreed that Arsenal had any chance for the way in yesterday's video has just commented, "You're right."
Ah, look at that.
That's quite amusing. Always enjoy those. Hopefully we get a few more of those over the next few hours. But yeah, Arsenal have came. They've competed. They've set up exactly how they needed to.
Still 5 minutes.
They have. That is true. But I think either way, they've done exactly what you have to do against Barcelona. There's nothing more they can do in this game. They've played perfectly. If Barcelona get a goal now because their players are ridiculously good, then so be it. But Arsenal have been superb. They deserve this Champions League trophy.
Yeah. Will they get
it? They did it against Real Madrid. They came back in superb fashion. They did it against Lyon. They came back in superb fashion. In this game, they've been the better side from the off.
Bomati around the corner. Big header from Fox. Arsenal win the ball again.
Here's Beth Mead.
Don't go, but just get it up.
Williamson,
there we go. Williamson's got the right idea.
It a bit too vertically, though.
Yeah.
Out for a throw, and that's gone towards the Arsenal bench. That will not be thrown out quickly.
Multiple system really ruins those moments. Because if that wasn't a couple of years ago in the final, an Arsenal member of staff would have put that under their shirt.
Illichstedt
the ball.
Tucked it under her shirt, so she's pregnant again.
Yeah. Brilliant header from Williamson. Again, ball in from Barcelona. Williamson gets it gone. Another corner though to Barcelona. Arsenal still hanging in there, still leading this final.
Bomati. And there's a delay in here for pushing, and Bomati's not happy about the ref doing her job.
But again, Arsenal won't mind that because all the time that's gone won't be added on.
And Sheraton live on the bench, praying. Barca now, they need divine intervention.
Arsenal, it's brilliantly dealt with.
And that's cleared away by Blackstenius as the clock ticks down.
Look at Emily Fox being
one charging it down more than anyone else.
I think I'm going out. But I love it. 93 minutes played, and she's still going. Absolutely phenomenal.
Engen. Gallardo. 1-2 with Engen. Gallardo switches the play. Handsome.
Great touch.
Brings it down well. Puts the ball in towards the edge of the box, and Kim Little gets it gone. 3 minutes to play. Is that clock even moving, Lol? It won't feel like it, will it? And that is put out of play for a corner.
3 minutes.
Chance now for Barcelona.
Really well managed from Arsenal. Got to keep concentration though. Got to keep getting to that ball first. Cannot allow Barcelona any shots on goal. Again, they've defended these corners brilliantly. They've conceded double digits, but they've got an Arsenal shirt has got to the ball first every time.
Looking now, Paralawelo to deliver. In swinging ball, headed away. Mead looks to compete with Battier. Does really well.
Brilliant from Mead.
Fox sends it up the line. Caldente will give chase, and the ball will stay in for her. Got to go corners.
Yeah.
Surely got to hit corners here. She's looking for a pass inside. I can't understand it.
Why she ran inside the
Brought down the free kick for Arsenal.
Brilliant.
Really smart from Caldente, but got to hit corners.
I don't know what they're doing.
Here now, Just a channel to the corner as your set piece routine.
Keep
Just really
8 players back.
So it's such a soft foul. It's such a silly one, sorry, not soft. Just doesn't he do that at all?
Yeah. Surely this is keep 8 players back, have 1 taker and put 2 in the corner. That has got to be the game plan. Don't put it in. If Arsenal put this in the penalty area, good. No one's in there apart from Catley.
Caldente. Now made. Gonna carry this ball to the corner. Holds on to the ball, Beth Mead. And that's out now for a Barcelona goal kick. And they'll look to try and move this ball quickly, Barca. They've got 60, 70 seconds really on the clock. Ball goes out to this right-hand side. Hansen now
really cool.
Driving it forwards. Someone's got to take the ball back. Hurtig gets involved.
Superb.
Now Kim Little will drive it forwards for Arsenal. Knocks it up the line, and that kills 10 seconds.
That's fine. She knows
50 to play.
She's a less than a minute away from winning everything. Lifting the Champions League trophy for her side. Arsenal, though, have got something to say about it.
Swung into the box now. Arsenal have something to say about it.
Barcelona will have something to say about it. That's another silly foul from Hansen, and Arsenal have a free kick.
And Sinsberger celebrating it because that could be it. That could very much be it. With 25 seconds, this will be launched forwards by Arsenal. And they're already celebrating on the Arsenal bench. They're already getting the bibs off. And Barcelona are already in tears. Ellie Roebuck went to win trophies. And the biggest one of them all, she will not win. Van Dompselaar has ticked it up to 7 minutes. Launches it forwards, and they'll wait for the sound of the referee's whistle. It's at her discretion now. Foul in there on Barcelona.
That would have caught a few Arsenal players and fans out, I bet. The whistle going, but only a free kick. Barcelona one last push.
Engen. Bruggs. Bonmati. Now Paraluelo. It's got to happen quickly, and it won't happen at all. That is the final whistle, and Arsenal are European champions once again. For the first time since 2007, the Gunners claim victory here in Lisbon to become the 2025 Women's Champions League winners and dethrone Barcelona. What a moment for the Gunners. They were written off by everyone. But they believed, and they turned up here and they competed today. And Arsenal are European champions. Arsenal tears of joy. Barcelona tears of despair. Harry, summarise that game. Summarise everything for me, please.
Against all the odds. Absolutely brilliant from Arsenal. And this has been the story of their Champions League campaign. They have done it against the odds. 2-0 down against Madrid in the quarterfinals. They turned it around. They trailed the 11-time winners Lyon, and they turned it around. And in this final, they dug in, and they've denied the Barcelona dominant force. Absolutely brilliant. Credit to Renée Slegers and Arsenal. They are back in the winners' circle. They are back as European champions. What a moment. And now, they still remain as the only club in England to win the European title. But they've won it twice. Brilliant performance. An incredible moment for Arsenal. Brilliant from Blackstenius. And Barcelona, the perfect season is not secured, and Arsenal, I've run out of superlatives for them because they have been an incredible force this season. They've been brilliant in Europe. They have surprised everybody on the way, and they've reaped the rewards of it, and they will lift the Champions League title.
And their name inscribed. You had to quickly scribble out Barcelona. He never thought it would happen. But there we go. Barcelona dethroned by Arsenal.
What a moment. I think Arsenal stunned themselves. They believed they could win it, but really,
they didn't fear Barcelona. They showed up and they competed. Every single player on that pitch for Arsenal competed today. No one shied away from the battle. There were Barcelona players out there that went missing today. The big names went missing today. That made the difference. Everyone for Arsenal gave 100%, 110%. Everyone for Arsenal showed up in this game, gave it their all. That's why they've won this match of football. Not because they're better technical players, not because they're physically better players, They had a game plan. They executed it to perfection. They had the work rate. They had the work ethic. They've won this final on that. And Barcelona, a lot to reflect on. And I think what we saw earlier this season in those opening games of Barcelona in the Champions League, in some of their league games this season that they've lost, is that there's a fallibility to Barcelona that wasn't there under Granados. And it's understandable. It's Pere Romu's first season. But it's definitely something to reflect upon. And I think if Wolfsburg or Chelsea had been up for the fight in earlier rounds, we may have seen an earlier shock for Barcelona. But we've seen it in this round. Arsenal were up for the fight. Arsenal didn't cower away from this game. They gave it everything. They executed what they wanted to do today to perfection. They've won this game 1-0. And I think hugely deserved champions.
Yeah.
They fought hard in every round and they've taken out Barcelona here. You couldn't have had a more difficult run to the final already than playing Lyon and Barcelona. So huge congratulations.
The standard they set today was absolutely incredible. As you say, other teams have not been up to scratch against Barcelona this season. Chelsea and Wolfsburg were blown out of the water. Arsenal, that was absolutely incredible. We spoke about it during the game. Some of those players, that was the best performance of their career ever. Katie McCabe, that is her best game in an Arsenal shirt she's ever had.
That's her best game of football ever.
Yeah, I've never seen McCabe play that well. And also, credit to her, because I touched her class at the end, because rather than celebrating, she went and consoled all the Barcelona players. Absolutely incredible. She was disciplined. She was just insane. And credit to Katie McCabe, because she was superb. My player of the match is Leah Williamson, because I thought, again, that was her best performance since the Euros final.
It's very difficult to pick a player of the match, isn't it? I would say Mario Nicardente.
Yeah.
I just think the difference she made in how she carried that ball forward for Arsenal, that won them the game today, because if not, they'd have got bogged down a bit too much. But every player performed excellently in the role they were asked to come on and do. And Renee Slager's huge plaudits, because she got everything right today. From how they set up from minute one to how the subs were made, the timing of the subs, what subs they made. It was just perfect decision making. And the problem is now no one else has any excuses. Because Barcelona fans' excuses will be, Granados went, we're in an adjustment period, Pere Romeu only came in at the start of the summer. Chelsea's excuses, Hayes era over, Bonpastor came in, they weren't settled to win this year. No one has any excuses now, because Arsenal, having changed their manager in October, have won the Champions League. The first side to win the Champions League after coming through the first round of qualification stages. The first side to even reach the final after doing that. So huge congratulations to them. And to turn this season around the way that they have after what was such an abysmal first 4 games under Jonas Eidevall, it's nothing short of incredible. And it takes Arsenal from a season which was incredibly just meh in terms of, they got back to Champions League football, but they didn't go far in the cup competitions. They didn't really challenge Chelsea. It takes that season to their best in recent history. Yeah.
I mean, there were calls when they lost that game, when they lost the first group game to Bayern Munich under Eidevall, there were shouts then to get grouped because of the tough group they had.
If they kept Eidevall, they would have been.
Yeah. And now, Renee Slager's absolutely incredible. And the squad, and as much, even from a Jets point of view, it hurts to see Arsenal win a trophy, but it's also brilliant to see what it means to the players and the fans. Because, again, no one expected them. I think there were a lot of Arsenal fans who will admit in chat, they woke up today, and of course you always back your team, but no one really believed that Arsenal could win this football match. But they have gone out and they have defied all the odds, and credit to them. Because no one saw this happening. They were written off before the tournament started. They were written off once they got out of the group. They were written off once Pittle saw they were playing Lyon. And they were written off once Pittle saw they were playing Barcelona. And every single hurdle, every single challenge, they have risen to the occasion. And they've beaten them. And they deserved this. It wasn't one of those finals where they hung on, they broke on the counter. They beat Barcelona fair and square. And credit to them.
I can't help but feel this is an overwhelming positive for the WSL as a league.
Yeah.
To win a Champions League title. We've not seen a WSL team do it ever. So they're huge for Arsenal to do it, and for Arsenal as a representative of England on this European stage to do it. And I think it definitely changed the complexion of the WSL now. Arsenal are going to be the most attractive prospect to join as Champions
100%.
League winners. And we were looking at next season if they'd lost this game as one where really positive first season under Slagers, but where does it go now? How does it get better next season unless they can finally topple Chelsea? But what a fascinating one that'll be. And Leanne Sanderson, one of the winners in 2007 with Arsenal, in tears watching this Arsenal side win. We've got a trophy to sell for. I do need to go to the bathroom, though, so I'll
Okay.
be back in just a moment. And watch out for the mic cutting.
That is true. We'll wait. Yeah. But wow, what a moment for Arsenal, and absolute credit and congratulations to them because they thoroughly deserve that. And this is, as Jack said there, I think it's a massive moment, for the landscape of women's football. We've seen Lyon and Barcelona dominate European football, but Arsenal have come in as the England representatives and have gone and won the crown. It's a brilliant moment. Stina Blackstenius, what a goal for her. Her only goal in the Champions League this season. But what a moment to do it. And wow, Barcelona are toppled. And Arsenal are reeling in it. And so they should be. What a moment for some of these players. And now there are players in those Arsenal shirts who not only are European champions on an international level, but a domestic level as well. At a club level. That is an insane achievement. A brilliant campaign for the Gunners. They've been absolutely brilliant. Leah Williamson, incredible, as you say, and definitely goes down as a legend. And when people when you mention now the names, the likes of Alex Scott, these kind of players can now be put into that same bracket because of what they've gone and done. Kelly Smith was another one. Now you can put Alessia Russo in that bracket because they've gone and replicated. These players on the pitch right now, they grew up and they idolised the team that won it in 2007. When they were younger, they would have been inspired. They would have aspired to be like their players, and now they are in the same bracket as their heroes. They are now what Alex Scott was to some of these Arsenal players. These Arsenal players are now to the next generation. And I think that is a massive moment for Arsenal as a football club. Is it when they were younger, they'd have watched their heroes go out and win that trophy in 2007, and now they've gone and done it in that Arsenal shirt and are inspiring a whole new generation of players to come through. Because there's loads of people there, loads of young fans especially in Lisbon, who've travelled to Lisbon and have watched their side. And I think it's a great advert for when you are the underdog in football, when you don't have the quality of the opposition, to go out and work harder and be more courageous and have that desire to go and win this trophy. But yeah, for the likes of Russo and Williamson to be international European champions and club level European champions is a phenomenal moment. And for Kim Little, what a career.
She's won it all.
She's won it all. She has won it all. That is not many players can say that. Brilliance from Kim Little. She has been here through thick and thin.
I think a lot of us who watch Arsenal today and watch the player Little is today don't quite appreciate just how good she was. And to be fair, still is. But yeah, she's won every single trophy possible. So fair play to Kim Little. Arsenal players. Still a very emotional moment. And unbelievable.
I think this is brilliant because, again, when you think some of these Arsenal players, Palova, really emotional there because she's had such a tough season. Picked up the ACL injury pre-season and has really had a tough time of it, but now she gets this big positive. For the likes of Mead and Williamson, who both had major ACL injuries a couple of years ago, probably are so happy to be in the situation they are in now, where they are champions of Europe.
It's very difficult to feel sorry for Barcelona in any way. Because they are so successful. Like the players normally in the final.
Like the fans. I don't feel for fans at the moment because, as we see represented in the chat and in the comments, they fully believe they're going to win 6-0 today.
Yeah, it's just a lack of respect for opponents.
Also, Mariona Calorente, jumped across the pond. Many people thought it may have been the wrong decision.
Maybe she's the missing piece. You sign Calorente, you win the Champions League.
Chelsea are now going to go put a million pound bid.
We want Calorente.
Yeah, Van Domselaar, again, some brilliant saves. And I think a massive moment. But credit to Arsenal. It's really hard. Like, you never want, as a London rival, you don't want to see them win a trophy, but it's hard to not be happy for them, to be honest. Katie McCabe.
I disagree.
No.
Fuming. If we weren't live right now, I'd be fuming.
Especially against Barcelona. It's so much fun.
It helps it's Barcelona because, God, I hate Barcelona. But it is.
And again,
next season, Arsenal away is not going to be as fun.
Oh, yeah. But again, Arsenal, they didn't ride their luck. They didn't sit deep for 80 minutes and get a scrappy goal.
They rode luck at times, but that was expected. They're playing Barcelona.
They outclassed Barcelona for the majority of the match, especially in that first half. second half they dug deep and did what it was needed of them.
I mean, we'll have analysis out Monday, but how you can look the better side in a game where you have 32% possession, have 8 shots to the opposition's 20, and 3 on target to the opposition's 5 is testament to how good Arsenal.
It's the key thing to remember is Peter will look at that and go, how can you say Arsenal the better side? Barcelona played them off the park and we just got unlucky.
I can think of quite a few people who say exactly that.
But that's not, football doesn't just work on the stats.
Well, a better way to look at it is Barcelona had a 25% shot accuracy in this game.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal made them shoot from really difficult positions. So, yeah, any team can take loads of shots. Any team can hold on to the ball. But did Barcelona ever actually look like scoring in this game? No. Not once.
No.
Arsenal had the goal. Arsenal had other opportunities where if the decision-making was better, they would have scored. Arsenal had the goal just allowed in the first half. So, 100% deserved this final. They played brilliantly, and they made a Barcelona team look absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, that's all. I'm just... That's simple as that's the best way to put it, and I think that Barcelona got to go back to the drawing board, and Arsenal will look to build on it going into next. They
need to go back to the drawing board. I think they'll just come back next season and probably win it.
That is also true. Yeah, I love that Williamson mascot for the 07 final.
I saw her interview this morning.
It's incredible, just an incredible moment. If you told young Leah Williamson in 2007 that can't do maths, 18 years later, she would be a European champion with England and a European champion with Arsenal. That just, I don't think, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And I think a massive moment for her. The fact that Kim Little will get to lift the Champions League trophy with her side as well is a testament to how good she has been and the consistency that she's had at this level. But yeah, just brilliance across the board from Arsenal.
I mean, Williamson's one of those who's now close to winning it all. I mean, Little's won it all on the domestic stage, but obviously Williamson has a Euros title in her hands as a captain. She captained England to the Euros, World Cup finalist, Champions League winning. All they need now is a WSL.
Yeah.
Was she there when they last won it? I think she was, but I don't think she was a prominent part of the team.
But is this what they need to go and push on? Potentially so. Again, it's a lovely moment for the likes of Hurtig and potentially other Arsenal players who won't be there next season.
Well, yeah. You'd imagine there'll be a bit of squad turnover now. I think from the starting squad alone, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 3, 4, 5 changes maybe. But this side's won the Champions League. They've done incredibly well to do so. So
yeah.
Yeah,
and as you say, not much to say on Barcelona because they will come back next year and will be as strong and will still be the favourites. And again, there's not much they could have done today. Arsenal,
Farge's first shirt on as well. She must be buzzing.
Yeah, first time she got to picture an Arsenal shirt in months. Yeah, brilliant moment. A lovely moment as well between Blackstone.
I think Blackstone's just going.
I
think with the emotion, it's just a nice way to bow out.
Match winner though in the Champions League final would be a bit harsh.
Well, no, I think it's more she might want to, what else has she got left to do at Arsenal?
I don't get this. Now they're saying 2 people who brought the trophy onto the pitch of the first kick-off.
We don't know who they were in the first place.
And then
we don't know who they are now.
15 paces to a different stand is what they've done.
The problem is Portugal don't really have a women's player who they can put in this.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know who the woman is. I imagine she might be an ex-player. But the whole build of the tournament have been using Kika Nazareth, who plays for Barcelona. It's mental.
The fact that trophy is in red and white ribbons once again. I think it's also big that the fact they get the trophy obviously in 07 wasn't really the traditional Champions League trophy or what we've become accustomed to.
It's a different game.
It is very different.
Not to take away from those past achievements, but this is a much more professionalised game. First time ever going to applaud a referee.
Yeah.
Phenomenal today.
I think it's one of the first finals where they actually deserve the medals. That is genuinely one of the best. I mean, Anthony Taylor got one for the 2018-19 Men's Cup FA Cup final, and that was a disgrace. That's been ripped off him. Yeah. But credit to them because the whole officiating side got it spot on, absolutely spot on. Yeah. The VAR decisions, the decision on pitch, best officiating side team I've seen, and that is but also what it shows is it's a massive show to England what happens when you invest in your officials. Because English officials would not have refereed that to the same standard. Because that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from all the officials involved. And credit to them.
I had Ivana Martincic to list the referees I trust. There's a scale now. It's Martin Chich on one side and Demetrescu on the other.
I mean, how they both manage on the how they both referee on the European stage is ridiculous.
That is true, yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I'm not sure why they're getting a picture in front of the winners' board that has Arsenal's badge on it, but fair enough.
Well, it's a nice memento, isn't it, of the event?
Yeah, they were brilliant. As I said, one of the best officiating performances we've had all season. Do you think Perry Romney?
I couldn't be an Arsenal player in this situation because I'd be laughing as Barcelona.
Do you think Perry Romney's gone?
No.
No? Fair enough.
Granados lost his first Champions
They got
League
to the final.
Granados lost his first.
He did.
I know that's to Lyon, it's a very different situation, but you know, that's very
Barcelona will come back stronger.
A few Barcelona players they went over to talk to Caldente. One spoke to Cadena. What did you do?
But yeah, I think
now they're all doing it.
Yeah.
They saw a couple doing it, now they're all talking to both.
Oh, I forgot she's Spanish. Hang on, come over here.
Oh, in fact, Dopslar, Cole and Zinsberg are all mates.
Because they're
Goalkeeper friends.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Katie McKay was just laughing at all of them. No, to be fair, she was actually really class about it to start with.
Now they've taken.
But I'm sure she'll get
her and shot.
McKay will get in that dressing room and we'll be taking the mick. But yeah, credit to you know, Barcelona. They'll come back stronger. They'll be the favourites next year. That is a squad full of quality.
Yeah.
But today they were outclassed, and I think they've. But that's the thing. What big thing for Barcelona now is to admit they're outclassed. Don't rock up and go, it doesn't matter what happened. Address it, recognise it, and use it, fuel it to come back stronger.
I'm surprised I haven't seen the cheesy thing of when they get the medal. Oh no, I can't wear that.
I hate that. That's so. I hate when players do that. That is so arrogant to do when players do take their medal off and their runners-up medal off immediately after being given it. It's just a lack of respect. Also, celebrate yourself. You're still runners-up. You still got to the final. That is now 4 finals in a row for Barcelona. So you know, well done to them. But they did lose, so unlucky.
And most of these players will probably be Euros champions.
Yeah.
In a few months. I'm talking about the Arsenal ones, obviously.
Go on. Yeah. Oh dear. But I mean, what a year it could be for the likes of Rousseau and Williamson if they walk away as international.
Rousseau will get the Ballon d'Or.
No, they'll probably still get it Bon Mate.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, completely changes the course of the Ballon d'Or voting now.
Yeah.
I
don't think Victoria Plova stopped crying since the final whistle went. But again, it shows how what it means to when you've had such a tough year. Also, Renee Slager's rocking up in just like training top and some shorts.
I think she packed for the World Sevens and then went, oh
yeah,
it's a Champions League final.
She's on a run and she's walking up to receive her Champions League winners medal. But I like that though. She just saw it as a normal game, and I think that's what she's done since she became permanent manager. We haven't seen that step up from her, which I think can be criticised at times.
I think when you've got a manager who's played so recently, it is easier then to sort of transfer that onto the field. I think the biggest problem at the moment you've got in women's football is there's not enough managers coming through. Because having that experience and having players who trust what you're saying and believe in what you're saying makes such a big difference. And you've got a relatively young Arsenal side here with some of the players. You've got players there who clearly respect Renee Slager as the older players in the group. And so I think we're seeing there that there is that respect there that you perhaps don't get if you're someone like Romeu coming into a Barcelona environment where everyone has won the Champions League. It's very difficult to then come in and get players to immediately agree, but sort of listen to what you're saying and really dig into it. So,
also, Chloe Kelly, probably the best decision of her life to take that loan from City to Arsenal.
Gareth Taylor's watching this in tears.
Yeah. I mean, that is football. She could have finished trophyless, finishing 4th in the UWCL. Instead, she's a Champions League winner.
Do you reckon she'll go to United now?
Maybe. Skinner's army. But credit to her, because she was a big part of it. She's started...
Arsenal sign her?
Surely.
Do they?
Oh, I was scared. She started 3 UWCL games and they've won all 3 of them.
I agree, she's been brilliant, don't get me wrong, but do they set their sights higher now they've won the Champions League? There's going to be players out there who now will want to move to
Slagers is walking around on the pitch afterwards to the Barcelona players going, hi Graham Hansen, do you want to know who do you want to the camp? Yeah. Massive. This is big for Kim Little.
This is feels like a pretty good loan move for Kelly.
Yeah.
Never fall in love with a lone player, but I don't think she'll mind.
No.
But yeah, Kim Little takes the Champions League trophy in her hands. And it'll be her and Williamson to raise it aloft together, because Arsenal are your 2025 Women's Champions League winners. Arsenal European champions again. And they will rejoice long into the night as red and white streamers fall onto the pitch. Confetti covers them, and McCabe has a Champions League trophy in her hands.
Wow, what a
That
moment.
picture of McCabe with the trophy in her hands is going to haunt everyone. I hope all neutrals out there are well aware of how painful it's going to be to talk to any Arsenal fans on any online forum for the next 10 years.
365 days until we're back in next year and someone else has won it.
I pray to God it's Chelsea next year, because we're not going to see another year of McCabe photos.
If
But
you've got a trophy again, keep taking it off people. Fair enough.
getting a catalogue.
Well, that's done. Nations League now. Don't celebrate. We've got Nations League fixtures to get on.
Come on, Williamson.
Yeah.
4 days.
I know you've just won the Champions League, but forget about that. We've got to go play
We've got
Nations League.
Portugal on Friday.
That is crazy, by the way.
Oh, yeah. On UEFA.
By the way, tonight they will enjoy it. Somewhere in Lisbon is going to be a very, very exciting place to be. What a moment for Arsenal. Absolutely incredible. Fair play to her.
Do you think they'll do a trophy lift? No, like a trophy parade.
Yeah, surely. They've won the Champions
Well, that's what I
League.
mean. Like, I've never seen one for a women's team
Yeah.
before. But I think Arsenal have the support there.
Oh,
and the fact
100%.
the men's side have won nothing ever for years.
But I love the
Surely
mix
parade.
in the Arsenal crowd of the young fans who have been inspired to join, but also the fans who've been here for decades and have supported this side through thick and thin, who have got their shirts from the thousands. Fair enough to them.
Kelly's on a run with the trophy.
Yeah, she's going right. She's running back to the city.
Hi, Mark. Look what I've got.
Gareth.
Kelly United.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
Do
She's
you want
off.
this next year? Sign me.
That's United's plan.
God, imagine we get it here in 365 days and it's Mark Skinner with the Champions League trophy.
Right, well, on that morbid note, let's get out
It's
of
in the
here.
same position. Man United, Arsenal finished third in the no, sale. United finished third in
So I'm
the
going to
third.
stop streaming before he keeps going. But that is,
What a
in
game.
seriousness, an incredible game of football. Arsenal European champions. Unbelievable. We'll be back on Monday with our full analysis of the game, which we need as many of you as possible to comment on, because if not, it's just going to be Barcelona fans attacking us.
Katina, by the way, is walking around with the Catalan flag because that's where she's from, but right in front of Barcelona. Credit to Arsenal. Well done.
Yeah, Arsenal Champions League winners, European champions, will be back on Friday for Nations League action. So don't worry, because the fun doesn't stop there. And then obviously back for the Euros in a little over a month now. 2 months. Month. Oh my
Month.
God, a month.
A month.
A month.
How many
See you
times?
then.
A month.
Thank you guys very, very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.